Kia ora, no mai hoki mai ki tētahi atu wāhanga o te pāhoatanga, the Underhive Lorekeepers Podcast. Ko Spamuel aho, tō koutou kai whakataki engare ka taia e koutou te karanga mai ki AHOY ko Captain Delicious. Kei tōku taha mātou, kua hoki mai tōna kainga ho I Aotearoa te tangata whenua hoki. Ko Nathan, kei te pēhua koe, e hoa?
Right,
Now, before you respond there, did you want to translate that for the audience?
Yep, absolutely, I will. We are a small and basically poorly run nation relying on Australia to provide us not only with military support and defence, but also financial and economic support. And our soccer teams, our biggest soccer teams, play in the Australian League because we can't run a league of our own. Captain Delicious. Is that about
Very close. Very close. But for those of you, obviously not Nathan because he knows exactly what I said, hello and welcome to another episode of the Underhive Lorekeepers Podcast. I am your host, Spamuel, but you can call me Captain Delicious. And to my right, back from his new home of New Zealand and tangata whenua, Nathan. How are you, buddy?
I'm going back to night shift. If this is the new show, I will see you later because
if you think that was bad, wait until the Japanese open up.
And don't do it in the language, just an accent. just an
terrible accent. No. So we are going to keep this opening very short because Nathan and I actually had a really in-depth opening on our last episode when someone forgot to press record on their audio. So I've already caught up with Nathan for all of this. So we will basically sort of say, we're back, baby.
Yes, we are back. And it's been far too long. Thank you for...
Like a month.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you for everybody's patience. We do this out of love, and sometimes work and life gets in the way of that love. So it's all settled down.
It genuinely does.
It's all settled down a bit, so we're back on target. Or stay on target, whatever it is.
Stay on target. I've been
dabbling in a bit of Star Wars recently, so... Right. Anyway,
okay.
I'm
don't do that anymore.
I'm still recovering from night shift, so I will let you take the reins, sir.
Beautiful. Well, we figured there's no way to get a happy return back to podcasting, and honestly, I've been going through the withdrawals. I've been having the withdrawals. I've been having withdrawals so much that I've gone and started a completely brand new show. And for those of you who are on our Patreon, you might have already seen the first episode of Hobbullying, where myself and Nathan, this particular episode, it was just myself, speak to members of our community. And we were lucky enough to do the first episode. Well, I was, because you were on night shift, with a good friend of ours and very active member of our particular Necromunda community, Inquisitor Mike. We basically spent an hour just gushing over the concept of terrain. He forced me to add an enormous section to my table. And this is going to be something that we're really looking forward to continuing to do. So if you want to take part in that, head on over to our Discord, jump on there, Discord, and then if you want to listen to the actual show, go to our Patreon, patreon.com/the Underhive Lorekeepers Podcast. It's actually been so long since I've done this that I forgot what our opening was. What's the other parts I do?
We talk about...
we do YouTube and Instagram and other social medias and Facebooks, and this is going all over the shop. Just go over there,
Merchandise.
like, subscribe, share. We do merch. I keep meaning to release new merch. This has been 5 minutes of agony. Nathan, what are we doing in tonight's episode?
We are going to be actually visiting something we've been putting off for quite a while. It is the
Bastions of Law.
Well, I thought we were doing Aranthian Succession, the final book of
It's Bastions of Law if you change it.
Well, no, I don't want to do any of those things because I want to do something that has been providing me with great entertainment in my many hours of night shift, and that is I want to touch on our minor autos again, but not we've got nothing left to read, right? We've done it all. We've ticked all the boxes. Boom, boom, boom. So now we have our minor autos competition. Let's do that.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's do that. Stick your Bastions of Law. Maybe.
Well, we already recorded that
actually,
episode.
can you do me a favor? Can you just check to see if you press the record button?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I'm actually watching it. As I can see the little voice waving.
Yeah, right. Your
Yeah.
voice is waving to you. That's interesting.
It is.
Right. So I want to do it because I've been reading so many of them, and it's just been amazing some of the ideas that people are generating, and I think it's like right up there with probably our most engaged with well, we call it listener law, but it's a listener minor autos. But yeah, it's just the one that's, I don't know, everybody wanted to jump on board. We've had so many entries, like I don't know off the top of my head, but it's a lot. I remember just seeing like day after day, just like boom, 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 email comes through, have a quick read of it, some absolute deep fried gold in there as well. So yeah, let's get into that. Let's read about this. Let's wrap up this competition, and that, I guess, also puts the end of the whole miners autos thing. So
We literally never need to discuss the Inquisition ever again.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Ever.
And
That's actually, we won't even put them in episodes.
That's actually what the Inquisition would prefer. So, don't talk about us or we'll come knocking on your door. So if we do mention any Inquisition in the future, just understand it's going to be redacted out of the episode. So if you just hear massive blank sections, it's just us talking about the Inquisition.
Well, you have actually said the magic word, because the first thing I want to read was sent to us by a listener by the name of James Morgan, and it is... And so, just quickly, I forgot what the competition was. Were they supposed to use an existing minor auto and put it in Necromunda, or were they supposed to invent one?
So, look, I think, and unsurprisingly and somewhat surprisingly, that maybe we weren't clear about it. I thought it was create your own minor autos, but we've had so many people enter with which minor autos they would like to see on Necromunda. So I think I just let us take the blame on this one. I think we weren't clear. So, but either way, we've had amazing entries.
Well, on that note then, I will start this off with a brand new auto that was created, called the Auto Redacted. Now, taking aspects of many allied autos, they have a seemingly simple goal, but an endless task. On any world that Astartes or the Sororitas, and even occasionally the Mechanicus, inhabit the leadership of a planet, is always one wrong move from losing that tenuous hold and then having to hand it over to the other Astartes or other Sororitas and their orders that share said planet. This would lead to balance issues as nobody fully trusts either the Astartes or the Sororitas with fully unchecked power on a planet that is not fully their own. And let's be honest, no one wants another Horus heresy, do they? The Auto Redacted come to the forefront here. They have the task of removing anyone or anything that can be seen as swaying the balance in either direction by any means necessary. Agitators, disappeared. Printing presses promoting prophetic publications, tides being skimmed. Collectors also taking just a little bit too much off the top. It takes teams figuring out what the current need to find a balance is. If there is a civil war brewing, maybe dropping a rumour that an STC under one hotspot can cool things down just enough for order to be maintained. Sadly, however, their attempts can occasionally have the opposite effect. A local lord getting lax in his tithing? Time to torment a mild rebellion in a factorum. Mild rebellion out of hand, and now they only produce guillotines? Whoop, looks like leadership changes are now inevitable. Can't redact them all. The Auto Redacted have also only just stepped foot on Necromunda. What kind of mischief would they get up to? No matter what, it will be redacted. So, I love this because James has just been like, I'm not taking this seriously at all. But he's done it that way. But then this is the write-up he's done for the gang. I would play these guys as an Imperial delegation with disintegration guns. Because what else would you use for violently disappearing an individual? For the rest of the crew, it depends if we want more of an ecclesiastical influence. Corridor, but if we wanted like an Imperial House influence, like, you know, Lord Helmore's dogs, it is. Like, that is, it's so great. But one thing that I loved is I read that, I'm like, if we want more Imperial House influence, what are you talking about? And he's changed that last section of the email as white ink on a white background, like white text on a white background. He redacted it. He redacted his own gang idea.
That is genius. And I mean, yes, well played, sir. Well played. Is there anything written there? Or was that it?
Yeah.
No.
Lord Helmore's dogs, it is. And then his name is then redacted. So, one of the reasons I wanted to read this first, not only because it was a funny, sort of great way to start it there, but it's genuinely such a great idea. Like, can you imagine this auto going in there and basically playing that very careful game of the ecclesiarchy are getting just a little bit too much sway over the population. They're not listening to the imperial governors, they're only listening to the church. This isn't a holy will. This isn't a temple will.
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
Maybe let's wipe it. Let's get that preacher. Oh no, he accidentally got hit by that truck. Oh no. Okay, so the imperial governor gets a little bit more power.
Yeah.
Oh, but now they're worshipping that dead preacher as a saint of the Imperium, and more people are going to that. Oh, okay, damn. What do we do now? Let's brew up a scandal within sort of like his particular church that maybe one of his preachers was taking tithe away from the church and spending it on himself. Oh, governor's got a little bit more power. Okay, but now people are saying that the governor is trying to besmirch the good name of that preacher. Shit. What do we do? Let's just drop a chaos cult on the planet.
So
I like
what
it.
I love about especially your description of it, is this is an Ordos that is just all about keeping the plates spinning. It's just like, a little bit more spin on this one, a little bit less spin on that one. It's getting a bit too crazy. A little bit more spin. Just like, and then their solution is like, look, everything's spinning a bit too much. Get the disintegrators out and just wipe them out.
Just start
killing things, and make sure that people know they've been disintegrated. So make sure they know that the victim was disintegrated in the worst possible way to go. But I also like the idea that, there is the auto redactus as well. And when you're talking about the auto redactus, it seems very like admin-y, in the background. Like,
yes. Okay,
let's eliminate this. But this is the auto redacted, right? This, I don't know. Am I misthinking that there's a difference between the two, or am I
There's definitely a difference between the
because
two.
these are a little bit more hands-on. These are like
These are very hands-on.
we want to see it. We want to see our machinations in action. What was that movie that had the Australian girl in it? It's from like the early 2000s, maybe even late 90s.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
No. It was about how like aliens run the city or something like that. Dark City. The Dark City.
Dark City. Yeah. Great. Oh, great movie.
This is how I imagine the auto-redacted see themselves. As like, we work in the background and we turn the city, we do this, we eliminate people. But really, they're just probably a little bit more exposed than that. They're almost, they're almost a little bit comical in a way. But they have the inquisitional rosette. So there is a way to just be like, no, listen to us, go away, back off.
Well, because the Redactus are the ones running around. I'm right, I'm thinking it. They were the ones running around making sure all the information doesn't get out, and then them and the Originatus are fighting each other, aren't they?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm picturing them. They're the ones hiding information. The auto-redacted are genuinely just like, we need to keep this razor-thin balance going. Like, we need to ensure that everything stays on this 1 millimeter line.
Yeah.
How do we do that? I don't know, but we have disintegration guns. And I think it is like there is a bunch of Inquisitors, and they've got what's the word? Is it prognosticators? You know, the ones that sort of like look into, or like precog. They have like precognition. They know events that are going to occur, and I picture they've got these psychers. Basically, I'm assuming strapped into like a one of those those UFO rides at like fairs and that. It just spins around really fast and it just pushes you against the wall, almost like a what's the science spinny thing? Centrifuge. Centrifugal force.
That's it.
It's basically using centrifugal force, and these poor psychers are just screaming, and the things they're moving because you're strapped down to that thing. It lifts up and it lifts down again. You've constantly got that sick feeling in your stomach, and then one of the psychers, the first one to crawl out, was just like, Planet Nexus 24. The Ecclesiarchy's getting too much power, and they're like, let's do it, baby. And it's right. It's right, but I'm genuinely picturing the Ordos Redacted are doing this because they were given a task of do what you can to maintain balance, and it's that imperial whispers of do what you can to maintain balance. Do whatever you need to ensure the balance is there. You go out there and ensure that anyone risking upsetting the balance is eliminated.
Yeah.
And it's just travelled. And then they found disintegration guns.
Yeah. And what I see is them like doing a jumping high five at each other and saying, "It's redacting time." And they just jump off and just start disintegrating things.
It's like in the movie Friday. You just got redacted the fire truck out.
Exactly. So I see this minor Ordos as like the hands-on version. They're the blue collar version of Auto Redactus, where they just get in there like, we'll sort it out, boys. Just get it out of the way. Like, keep your pencil pushing to yourself. We've got disintegration guns and very, very ill psychers. We know what we're doing.
Yeah. You go and burn your books, you big dorks. We're going to go shoot some people in the face.
Yeah.
It's like, sir, this is a Wendy's. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Redacted.
This was never a Wendy's. This was always a Donut King. No, we don't like them. This was a Wendy's. Redacted back.
Redacted.
No, it's a brilliant concept. I love the idea of them. Though it's supposed to be comical, I'm assuming it's supposed to be comical. Obviously, I could see this being a legitimate part of the Imperium, where they just be like, these are the guys that go around. Like, you just avoid them and just hope they don't lock eyes with you, because they will find a way that you are the problem. And
Okay, so with every gang, we're going to imagine them at picture like you've worked in an office before.
I
haven't
have,
you? Yeah, you
yes.
have. Yeah, where you'd have different departments coming together and doing like a meet and greet, like a little mixer,
Yeah.
and there's always like a table, like one of those trestle tables, and it's got some like soft drinks and like some light beer and so that sort of thing, and there's always just like. You end up very cliquey anyway, so sorry. Like you're always with your workmates and whatever, but the little groups are sort of forced to interact. Now, at the minor Ordos mixer, the Ordos redacted, they are loud. They are very loud. They are like they think they're jocks, if you know what I mean.
100%.
But-
I was just about to say the same thing. And I have a personal experience of like our IT crew. Well, this is going back like 15 years ago now. Of our IT guys, there was like 4 of them who just thought they were the absolute alphas. Got themselves properly wasted before the little mixer, and then turned up and were just obnoxious and just like the phrase, "Have you tried turning it off and on again?" I think it must have been around about when the IT crowd was out, and
perfect.
and they just kept doing that, and to the point where people are just like, "Oh, please, lads, you need to stop. You need to like go find a quiet corner and just like." Focus on sobering up or becoming better. But the problem is with the redacted, there's no sobering up. This is just how they are. This is like like this the same way they behave at the mixer is the same way they are Monday morning. It's just like, yeah, baby, let's find something. Let's redact it. Let's change. Let's change history by changing the future. Oh. Gladiatorius, you are the smartest servitor I've ever met. And they're just like, yeah, let's change the future. You know, let's 12 monkeys this thing. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm now genuinely believing that they've seen it. They've somehow got a VHS copy of 12 Monkeys. They've watched that. They're just like, this is how you inquisitize. This is how you do it. All right, we need 5 guys that look like Bruce Willis, and they've just found 5 guys that look like Bruce Willis. Like, you're Inquisitors now, boys.
Yeah.
Like,
excuse me. Here's your disintegration gun. Here's your rosette, but it just looks like a 12 monkey image. We changed it because it suits us better.
We changed it.
Yeah, no.
We redacted that old one. It was crap. Oh my god, auto redact is great.
I love these guys.
And at the mixer, they are chugging beers, but they're chugging beers poorly. And they're sort of looking at, they want someone to who's a lower rank than them to say something, so they can just be like, "You're about to get redacted, son. You want to get redacted? I will redact you so hard. I will redact you. I will redact your ancestors. I will redact you all the way back to the golden age of technology. That's how bad I'll do it to you, son." And he's just like, I'm your boss.
Yes.
I'm going to redact that whole conversation.
Yeah, but it's like, boss, I could redact the fact that you're my boss. And then guess what? Redactified. Oh, get out of it. I can imagine them turning up to the mixer going, we're the ones bringing the guns. Like other people that have been guns, but they're just making sure it's like, yeah, that's right. We got disintegrated guns. We've got other guns. We got harsh language. We got sharp sticks.
Is that a plasma pistol? Oh, that's real nice. I mean, it's flashy, but it doesn't have the stopping power of a disintegration pistol
or the vanishing power. We're basically magicians.
I love it. I love it.
This has been a great one to open with as well because it just gets us into stupid brain mode, which is fantastic. Well done. It was James, was it?
And he is one of your countrymen. He's a fellow New Zealander.
Oh, it's a weird way to end the entire podcast. Right, that was as I said, a brilliant starting point. But I've picked one from a veteran contributor of ours and a person who makes us feel when we don't want to feel. So anybody who doesn't know, it is the infamous Hairy Bob.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
Okay.
so-
I haven't read this one on purpose.
I'm thinking we might either have rage, tear, or a combination of all of that very early in the show. But let us go from the beginning. The dead world of Gollus exile hung in the void like a rotting carcass, its surface a cracked and lifeless wasteland of ash and glass. Once a thriving agri-world, it had been reduced to a quarantined husk by the Inquisition's exterminatus, a desperate measure to halt the spread of the weeping death, a plague so virulent it had turned the planet's population into shambling, pustule-ridden horrors. Reference to Wales, interesting. Now, centuries later... New Zealand's changed me, baby. Now, centuries later, the Ordo Sepulturum used the desolate planet as a staging ground for their grim investigation into the galaxy's most unholy contagions. The chamber was a tomb of sound, the air thick with the acrid stench of machine oil and the faint tang of decaying flesh. Kiowas, the data servitor, stood haunched over a corroded lectern, his skeletal frame a grotesque amalgamation of flesh and metal. His once brilliant mind had been stripped of its humanity and repurposed for the Imperium's endless war against inevitable decay. The dim lumen globes flickered, casting long shadows across the chamber's rusted walls. The servitor's mechanical limbs moved with a jerking precision, feeding reel after reel of ancient and new data into the cogitator. Ever thirsty for data, the cogs turned relentlessly, processing data from 1,000,000 worlds and 1,000 times. Kiowa's task was simple, yet doomed to repeat without ending. To sift through the detritus of millennia along with the ever-increasing data from now, searching for whispers of a plague. Words mattered. Plague, pestilence, blight, contagion, rot. But what words were linked? The words blurred together in his fractured mind, a cacophony of meaning and sound. His mechanical brain processed the data with cold efficiency, but it was the faint remnants of his human self, the part of him that had once been a linguist of unparalleled skill, that began to see the pattern. The words were not uniform. They shifted, twisted, and writhed like worms in the soil. His mechanical brain, cold and unfeeling, scanned the reels for patterns in the letters, searching for exact matches and logical sequences. An upstroke and a slash denoting a high Gothic T. A sibilant curve denoting a low Gothic S. Patterns. His mechanical brain was looking for physical patterns. But it was the faint remnants of his human mind, the part of him that had once been a linguist of unparalleled skill, that began to see the truth. The letters themselves were meaningless to the machine, but the sounds they represented, the subtle shifts in dialect and pronunciation, began to coalesce into something coherent. Karloth Valois, Karloth Valoisi, Karlot Valois, and then other trends. Delak, Delacquer, Delacqua, Delacque, Delacque. I'm going to stay professional. I'm going to stay professional. The servitor's vocalizer clicked and whirred as he repeated the names, his voice a hollow echo of the man he had once been. In the background, corrupted transmissions played on a loop, their distorted voices whispering fragments of despair, slaves of pain, infected voice, manifest. The words clawed the edges of Kiowa's consciousness, stirring something deep within the remnants of his mind. A single mournful beep escaped from his vocalizer, signalling he had found a threshold of information. His head tilted slightly, as if in contemplation, though no such human thought could truly exist within his circuits. The chamber doors groaned open, and Inquisitor Ramahat, that is an unnecessarily long name, I'm just going to shorten that to Rata. I think that was just done just to spite one of us. The chamber doors groaned open, and Inquisitor Rata entered, his crimson robes trailing like bloodstains on the cold metal floor. His face was a mask of grim determination, his eyes burning with the zealotry of a man who had long since abandoned hope in favour of duty. The single beep had summoned him, and he approached the servitor with a mix of curiosity and impatience. "What have you found, Kaiawasa?" he demanded, his voice sharp and commanding. The servitor's mechanical arm extended, presenting a data slate filled with the reams of phonetic variations. Rata's eyes scanned the list, his brow furrowing as he read the names. Karloth Wawa, Delacroix. So many variations in pronunciations. "These are not just names," he muttered, his voice low. "These are branches, offshoots. But I need the source. I need the roots. Bloody roots." Rata turned sharply, his mind racing. "Find the origins of these names. Trace them back to their source. We must know where this play began." Harry Bob, I love you. He glanced at the servitor's grotesque frame, his lips curling in a mixture of disgust and pity. "You were once a man, Kiowa," he said almost to himself. "Now you are a slave new to the new world, bound to the will of the Imperium. But perhaps, in this case, that is a blessing. No man should bear the burden of what you are about to uncover." The days that followed were a descent into madness. The Inquisition's archives were a labyrinth of decay, their shelves sagging under the weight of forgotten knowledge. Star charts and maps yellowed with age and stained with the blood of the long-dead scribes were unrolled across the chamber's vast tables. Kaiawasa worked tirelessly, his mechanical hands flicking through data at an inhuman speed. His vocalizer occasionally emitted distorted fragments of speech. Territory, propaganda, inner self, clenched fist. The words hung in the air like a funeral chant, their meaning lost to all but the servitor's fractured mind. Locating the source proved problematic, whilst triangulation of signals and cross-checking of data streams located the likely source in the segmentum solar. All new references referred to a dead world, a planet with the status Necromunda. Finally, the breakthrough came. A solar grid reference received from a rogue trader, cross-checked with all literary and Minotaurian tithe-related data, identified the planet as Arrhenius Prime, although all records associated with that planet stopped in M33. Unsure if the planet still existed or whether the tides and times of the warp travel had blurred their understanding, the Inquisitor boarded the next passing vessel to gather more intelligence. It was at this point that he cursed his cousins in the Ordo Astra, shaking with rage. Rata slammed his fist on the table, the sound echoing like a gunshot. "The Ordo Astra!" he spat, his voice dripping with contempt. "Those fools haven't updated the star maps in centuries. How are we even supposed to do our work when they can't even keep track of a planet?" The servitor's voice. There's much respect for this. The servitor's vocalizer emitted a low, distorted hum. Necromunda, the territory of the plague, the propaganda of the unholy. Rata's eyes narrowed. "What do you mean, servitor?" Necromunda, the inner self of the cogitation, the clenched fist of corruption. The Inquisitor's face darkened. "Enough riddles, Kiowa. We have the coordinates. That is all we need." He turned to his entourage, his voice rising with authority. "Gather the man-catchers, web guns, flamers, and biotech retrieval equipment. Remember, biotech is Godzilla. Godzilla is our own monster against the darkness. We are going to Necromunda. If this place is as unholy as the data suggests, we'll need every tool at our disposal. As his retinue scrambled to obey, Rata cast one last glance at Kiowa, the servitor who had pieced together the fragments of a forgotten horror. "You've done well, Kiowa," he said, his voice was softer now. "But this is only the beginning. We are about to be under siege by an infected voice. But remember, this is a means to an end, to create our own troops of doom, made of dead embryotic cells." The servitor's mechanical eye flickered, and for a brief moment it almost seemed as though a glimmer of his old self shone through, but was gone in an instant, replaced by the cold, unfeeling stare of a machine as the retinue hurtled through the void to Necromunda. So that's the read part of it, and it is quite full on. I'm quite a fan of that servitor, by the way. Well done.
So
there is still
Bob,
the gang idea. There's still the gang idea.
Yeah, Bob has absolutely weaved magic, and I'm about to tear that magic apart.
Good man.
But please jump into that gang idea because.
Yeah. So the gang idea is a Venator gang, which really focuses on capturing plague samples whilst being cognizant of keeping any potential viruses contained. I see the gang as all wearing hazard suits, a handful of flamers, and a lot of web guns to catch samples. I'm also getting Stanley Godspeed vibes. I think he's one of the main characters from The Rock, remember? Like have you seen the movie The Rock?
I have.
Yeah. He's Nicolas Cage character.
Oh,
he's interested in the viruses.
Yes.
He's like, whoa. And it's amazing. And like the guy pulls a knife on him and he's like, "You know how this shit works." And then he pulls out one of the little green globes and he's like, "You know how this shit works?" You don't remember that?
Yeah.
It's a perfect rendition. It's
I
like
do.
you're watching the movie.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So a pretty normal Inquisitor who's...
I'm the Rocket Man.
a pretty normal Inquisitor who's having a really bad day owing to the incompetence of other agencies. So that's like... I understand this Inquisitor. This Inquisitor is just like, I can see the terror of this plague, but I'm a little like, I want to be corrected here. Are we suggesting that this Inquisitor is in a different timeline? Maybe?
So, when you were... I purposefully have not read this. I make a point of not reading emails from Harry Potter.
It's a fantastic idea.
Because I thought we made it very clear that he was not to enter any more competitions. Because I saw this and I'm just like, it's going to be like the Ordos Belzer or something. Or it'll just be, and then I'm going to cry on recording again. And this was a roller coaster of emotion. Firstly, and Bob had a little section in there. He goes, how many references to the band Sepultura can you find? And for example, I started picking up a bunch of them straight away. For example, Rada Mahara is a song.
Oh, right.
So is Kiowas.
Yeah.
Like
right.
It says at one point, biotech is Godzilla.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
And then
I was like,
that's a song.
Oh, right. Okay.
From Chaos AD.
Okay.
And then the Stanley Goodspeed about being a biochemist, and for example, Roots Bloody Roots, Slave New World, The Clenched Fist. These are all song title references.
Oh, right. So this is just a way for him to put song titles into some sort of writing. Well done, Bob. You win nothing.
Yeah. But at the same time, while you were reading that, I was reading it sort of along with you. I genuinely think that this Inquisitor, I don't know. I think they are. I think maybe he's not outside in a different timeline. I think he's just removed.
Well,
I think it's almost like he's been around since
just
Arrhenius
Prime.
Prime.
That's what I was about to say. Something just dawned on me. It's like they bring up Arrhenius Prime, like clearly the world's Necromunda, but as he's suggesting that the Ordo Astra did not update the map since Arrhenius Prime, like, is it?
I think he hasn't gotten the updates.
He hasn't got the updates. That
I
makes
think
sense.
because of warp dilation. Yeah. I think what was it? It was Golus Exile. Like, I think at Golus Exile, it's possible that they sit outside of, like the warp jump has maybe not allowed the information to get there.
Yep.
So when the information, when the search goes out by Kiowas and it comes back, it's just Necromunda. What are you talking about? That's Arrhenius Prime.
Yeah, right. So,
like,
that makes sense. Like, do you know what he's made me think about something here, which is, classic Bob. Maybe there would be parts of the Imperium that would be so out of date that would not know what is going on. Even the Inquisition may not know what's going on.
We know for sure the Inquisition doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying, like, even something that's so obvious as Necromunda. Yes, everybody knows Necromunda exists and so forth and blah, blah, blah. But there would be parts of the Imperium that would not even know it existed. And when their records say Arrhenius Prime, why would the planet name change? Why would you call it anything different? It is Arrhenius Prime. Okay, cool, fair enough. That makes total sense.
Because they may have gotten the update sent out to them from the Imperial Fists during the Great Crusade, and all the information they have says Arrhenius Prime. The planet, what's it called? What was that thing we used to do in high school? Orienteering, where you basically wander around with a compass looking for, like, mirrors nailed to trees.
It was just a way to get rid of you, Sam, but yeah, sure.
It might have been. But, like, they've gotten that information, and then they're looking at their maps going, well, hold on, these are the coordinates. The only planet at those coordinates is Arrhenius Prime. Why is the information telling me Necromunda?
Yeah.
These Ordo Astra idiots, what are they doing? Why do I not have up-to-date information? And then, so they've obviously gotten this information. They've finally said, and he goes, Kiowas, you're a good old fella, round up the kids, we're going to go a-grabbing.
Yeah, so that's one thing that I really...
Be a little bit of a grab ski, you know what I mean?
Yes, I do. Now, what I did love is, like, they needed the web guns for collecting samples, which is you're taking people.
You're stealing people. See, this is the Bob magic. Yeah. He says, better grab the man catchers and the web gun. It's like, that makes sense. What are you getting? Viruses. Yeah. But wouldn't you need, like, a syringe or, like, an aerosol? No, we're going to take a bunch of samples.
Yeah. If I have the whole person there, or as I like to refer to them, the sample, then I can do whatever I want with the sample until I need to just burn the body. You mean the sample? Yes, burn the sample. Fantastic. You can be part of my retinue. You get it. Yeah. So I'm loving this gang idea in the sense that they're going to go to Necromunda. And they're not realising they're going to Arrhenius Prime, right? They're going, corruption, there's all manner of horrible plague rising up on this planet. And they're going to turn up at Necromunda, they're going to see it's an imperial world, and they're just going to start picking people up. Just like, you're a particularly stinky corridor, you're coming with us. You're a particularly, perfumed Escher, clearly some sort of plague. You're covering something up, You shall also be a sample.
But I was also so confused by it, where they were talking about the the different pronunciations and that sort
Yeah.
of thing, almost like it is a virus.
Yeah, yeah.
Where because it specifically says, where was it? They were. Here it is. These are not just names. These are branches, offshoots. But I need the source. I need roots. Bloody roots. Song title. Yeah. Great song, by the way. But it is, it's these different pronunciations are creating almost a virus of ideal.
Yeah.
Like the idea that is spreading further into these people.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of like, well, it's Valdorians and Valdonians all over again.
Yeah. I was about to say something similar to that. I'd heard, that over time when a word changes and so forth, it develops its own power and it develops its own, I guess, energy around it, which can then affect. But you gave the perfect example of Valdorians and Valdonians, and you have these words that are getting used, but this is my understanding of it. The implication of their modification and their change, that is potentially almost like trigger words for the plague. It's classic. I think it's like a neuroscience type thing, but they show it off in one of the Marvel movies where he starts just reeling off these trigger words like bang, bam, bam, bam.
Yep.
And then suddenly the Winter Soldier comes, big angry arm guy. Now, could these words, these wonderful pronunciations of Delacroix, could they be what begin to initiate, maybe they set off a plague in somebody, so those modifications and those changes to the interpretation of the word they're almost like trigger. You begin to trigger the plague in a way, or they begin to trigger some sort of virus that then goes off and affects. And it might be just one layer of effect from one word, and then another layer of effect from one word. But over time, all of these viruses build up to eventually you get something so indomitable as the weeping death. It's clever. It's very clever.
It is very clever. Funnily enough, I see this as more of a like Palanite Justicars, because he specifically states there that they're going to be having the hazard suits and that sort of thing. But I picture them as wearing gas masks or like the Plague Doctor sort of style masks. Yep. I picture them not necessarily as that. We didn't do this for the first gang, but that first gang is actually perfect for the Inquisitorial retinue. Yeah. Except that they all need Catachan muscles.
Yes, absolutely.
But this, I see them with the man catchers and the web guns and that sort of thing. But also, lots of the gas masks and as they're capturing people and they're whacking magnicals on them and that sort of thing, they're taking blood samples and they're taking that sort of thing, and they'll be taking blood samples periodically.
Yep.
But it's like, we've put the viruses together, and now it's T minus 15 minutes from this point, or post this point, whatever, yada yada yada. Yeah, I see. This is a weird one. This is a really weird gang. This is a really weird Ordo, and I'm all about it. I would love to know more about where they've been. What their sort of... where this focus is, because, Kiowas is so interesting, where the information is being fed to this cogitator, and Kiowas is reading and then is saying the words, and Kiowas knows those, is actually saying them, which is weird for a servitor, but Kiowas knows he's saying them.
Yeah, right.
And then, the way the, Radhamahata comes in and is like, well, hold on, what are you saying?
Yeah.
Like,
why are you saying
this relation?
like
Well, no, there is no why. It's what this. If you look at it, the Radamahata is totally comfortable with this servitor
true
vocalizing.
yeah
Like,
so he
and
clearly
saying these strange.
he clearly made that servitor. He was like, I need a linguist.
I think he made it.
Yeah. So there's a latent sort of cruelty amongst this Ordos as well, in the sense that, yes, I will make a servitor out of somebody who is a genius linguist because I need the potential processing power of that person for centuries, not just for one lifetime. Yeah, right. There's a darkness to this. But what I like about this, the story, is that this is talking about an inquisitional task that is done over a very long period of time. Like when they're going and getting the samples and all that, we're not suddenly seeing like, you know, big bad explosions and the main villain gets taken down. This might take multiple lifetimes to affect something, to stop something, or just simply to set up the defenses against something inevitable.
Yeah.
No, I'm very down with this. But to reference what you were saying before, where do you see them in the mixer?
Ooh, okay. I see them how do I put this?
Edgy weirdos.
Edgy weirdos. Super edgy weirdos. And when people are talking, you know, they'd be saying words and they'd be pronouncing them in different ways, pronouncing them, pronouncing, and
just correcting people. Like, I went and bought that from the shops. Bought that from the shops. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I don't know who you are. Oh, my friend, the person I'm speaking to, they're gone. They're a sample. Oh, okay. Don't worry about it. I'll go hang out somewhere that's not where you guys are, because you edgy weirdos. That's what you are.
Yeah, no, they're edgy weirdos. And because of all the Sepultura references, because how would I put it? They're basically, I'm picturing them as very South American. So Sepultura. So interesting. Like the Kiowas, for example, is about a South American tribe where the tribe committed mass suicide.
Oh, right. Okay.
From what I remember, the government, I think it was Brazil.
Yeah.
The Brazilian government seized their land and was like, "You got to get off," and they from what I remember, they killed themselves, like the whole tribe.
Really?
Yeah. But I'm picturing them as it's like South America. Like, have you seen Apocalypto?
Yeah.
By Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
The difference is I'm picturing the almost like over the hazard suits, the very South American sort of like native sort of get up. So lots of skulls, like of like small animals and birds and that sort of thing. And what's the word I'm looking for? They're a very this order was a very dark order.
Yeah.
They're very edgy weirdos, definitely. But when it comes to a fight, they know that if everyone knows they're going to just be like, nah, it's getting done. Where like they'll catch you, and you don't want to be caught by these people.
Yeah, exactly. Because their end goal is so important to them that they just completely dehumanize, because they're so, the weeping death is what they need to be focused on at all times.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Have we got another one to read?
Yeah, we do. Now, I'll be honest, I should not be reading this one because The person who wrote this to spite me. He may not have. He may have. What? No? Go. So
I was going to say it's the winner. Done.
No.
No. Okay.
So he will not win. He will win nothing. And Bob, we banned you from entering our competition.
Oh, yeah, we did too.
You also win nothing.
Yeah.
But this came to us from Doug Swinyard, who is actually another one of your fellow New Zealanders. That's 2 for 2 from me so far. I'm just reuniting you with your countrymen, aren't I?
Oh, God.
Now, this one here... He has created the Ordos Venetum. The Emperor protects, Prophet ensures. The unofficial motto, frequently denied, but universally obeyed. The Ordos Venetum is a minor but fiercely defended ordo, operating under the broader authority of the Holy Inquisition. Its existence justified by a simple, immutable truth of the Imperium. Wars are not won on faith alone. They are funded. I think this is going to have something to do about invading the Middle East, I'm not sure. With the rise of Caryatid Blue, a shelf-stable, galaxy-exported nutritional supplement originating from the manufactoria of Necromunda, an unexpected but substantial revenue stream emerged. Marketed as flavoured milk, tolerated as food, and classified as neither strictly dairy nor strictly heretical, Caryatid Blue spread rapidly through the hive cities, void stations, frontier worlds, and regimental supply chains of the Imperium. Its ubiquity ensured consumption. Its legality ensured taxation. The tithe extracted from the Caryatid Blue trade soon grew to rival those of mid-tier forge exports. Entire crusades were quietly provisioned on its margins. Fleet actions were underwritten by its tariffs. When administratum audits confirmed that disruption of the trade would measurably impact the wider war effort, the response was immediate and characteristically excessive. Thus, the Ordos Venetum was founded. Now, the Ordos Venetum exists to produce and protect imperial revenue derived from the blue milk trade, ensuring uninterrupted production, transport, taxation, and public acceptance. Its remit includes policing trade routes linked to Caryatid Blue distribution, auditing hive tithes, and rooting out diversion, dilution, or black market siphoning. Investigating heretical interference with branding, purity seals, or sanctioned messaging. Suppressing unrest, dissent, or rumours that could negatively impact consumption. Authorising limited propagandistic activity to stabilise demand in key markets. Though nominally concerned with finance, the Ordos operates with full inquisitorial authority. Sabotage of the trade is treated as economic heresy. Counterfeiting carries penalties equivalent to arms trafficking. Vocal opposition to Caryatid Blue has, in several documented cases, been reclassified as sedition. Are you kidding me?
I'm in love with this.
Agents of the Ordos Venetum are drawn from a mix of administratum auditors, officio prefectus investigators, void-born enforcers, and inquisitorial acolytes with backgrounds in logistics and compliance. Many operate openly as trade inspectors or tithe officials. Others work covertly, embedding within guilds, shipping cartels, and underhive distribution networks. Violence is used sparingly, but decisively. The Ordos prefers seizures, sanctions, and disappearances over spectacle. But when spectacle is required, it is framed as a cautionary tale. Now, officially, the Ordos Venetum does not engage in advertising. much like us, much to the chagrin of my wife in advertising and marketing. In practice, sanctioned imagery, slogans, and public reassurance campaigns appear wherever consumption falters. These efforts are justified as morale stabilization and nutritional encouragement. Caryatid iconography, Gothic branding, and reassuring taglines are tightly controlled to maintain recognizability and trust. After all, a product the Imperium relies on must never appear optional. Now, the Ordos Venetum remains a small ordo, frequently mocked by other inquisitorial branches and quietly resented by planetary governors. Despite this, its balance sheets are unassailable. Now, where the caryatid blue flows, the Emperor's wars continue. Now, the Emperor protects, but the Ordos endures that the invoice is paid. I hate this.
No. I'm assuming you hate it because it is so good.
It is designed to piss me off. It is flavored milk with a caryatid spokesperson. You notice how he never states where the milk comes from?
You don't need to.
I'm telling you now, it is rat milk with blue food dye.
It could very well be. You know,
it's that scene from The Simpsons where they've got all the rats attached to the milk is.
Yeah, but it could very well be rat milk with just a bit of food dye, and they're like, "This will make you lucky." Why is that? Got a bit of caryatid sprinkle on there. And so on Necromunda, it's accepted that this is something that will make you lucky or potentially give you luck because it is caryatid milk.
But
right.
So Doug has written this so well. This is written so well. And I've sort of just realised neither of the Ordos I've done so far are offensive. They are very internal. The Ordos Redacted and the Ordos Venetum, they are very much just dealing with the flotsam and jetsam of the Imperium. They're keeping 100%. Things going. Yep. And I love this because it's the ultimate bad guy of 40k. It's capitalism. They are funding the war effort by basically saying, drink this to be healthy, drink this to be strong. You need caryatid blue. You need your calcium and your minerals and vitamins.
This is remember years ago now in Australia we had the formula crisis. Remember?
Yes.
There was formula was being bought off the shelves in Australia because I think a lot of Southeast Asian countries and China were sort of reflecting upon Australia and going, hey, you guys go to the Olympics and you're a small nation and you're so successful. Do you know what I mean? It must be what you're feeding your babies.
It was because of polluted milk powder or something in Southeast Asian countries, wasn't it?
That was also that as well.
They were buying all the formula here, and there was the media was just like, they're stealing our formula. It's like, no, there's still more. It's just capitalism. Relax.
So, but the thing about it for me is that with the caryatid blue milk, this is about saying this is what we drink on Necromunda, and the Necromundan 8th are X, Y, and Z. They're amazing. Oh, yeah. They are phenomenal. Do you know what I mean? And then you go, okay, well, we're going to ship this off to another planet, and this other planet drinks it, and, they might have a particularly successful campaign, and that's what I could see this Ordos being involved in, is about saying, let us ensure that when the first time caryatid blue is shipped off to another world, or when it's publicly known, beyond even publicly known, when it's known across the galaxy that they are, the Catachan 27th is using it, then the Ordos Venetum would would influence the amount of resources being supplied to that particular campaign to say, okay, we need to pull the trigger here. If there is Astartes available, they're going to fight in this campaign. If there is, nightly households available, they're going to fight in this campaign, and probably over-resource the campaign to ensure a win. But that's not what's reflected upon in the public view. The public view would be, it was carrier tit blue. That's what did it. That was the guardsman, the regular human, the Joe Blow like you and me, drank that carrier tit blue, and that's what made them so powerful. They were able to destroy that particular war rising on that planet, and suddenly carrier tit blue just it builds more and more of a reputation, and then it becomes something that the Imperium can openly sell to other planets. So I still in my mind would see it like, if you come from an agri world, you're sitting there and going, I'm not having carrier tit blue. I've got like ridiculous amounts of food resources available to me, but the Imperium is saying your world needs to buy 1 million units of carrier tit blue off Necromunda. We shouldn't have to. We've already got our own food. No. You're going to buy it. And that's where I can see this Ordos having an influence in that regard, in the sense that they would say, this is the product you need to buy. And it's not because they want them to feed their soldiers that, obviously. As mentioned in the submission, it's more a case of like, you need to buy this so that we can have money pumped back into Necromunda to do, to run another campaign. So but what I loved about this, as you were reading it, this is forget carrier tit blue, even though it's brilliant because you can go to hell, Sam. But it's any food source. So you could see this being used for corpse starch, or you could see, if there was like a particular slime or goo that they were trying to sell,
Well, it could be all of those things ground up, mixed into water. But I've figured out a way to make myself really like carrier tit blue, and I'm gonna go back. You've had Guinness before. Guinness is delicious. I love Guinness. You can't drink it in any country except Ireland, maybe England, because once you get to Australia, Guinness here is just horrific. But every time I go back to Ireland, I love drinking as much Guinness as I physically can. But do you remember, or have you seen any of the Guinness is good for you advertisements? Where it's like, drink Guinness for strength. Guinness, give Guinness to pregnant women because it'll give them all the iron and that sort of stuff. I'm now picturing carrier tit blue, but with all of that old-fashioned Guinness advertising. The Guinness toucan, like... in fact, I'm just going to bring up one here. If he can say, as you can, Guinness is good for you, how grand to be a toucan. Just think what two can do. As in toucan? Or there's one where it's like it's the tortoise, and he's got a Guinness on his back. Have a Guinness when you're tired. Have a carrier tit blue when you're tired. Carrier tit blue is good for you. Nothing takes its place. Carrier tit blue for strength. All right? Order this large carrier tit blue for the home. Like, all of a sudden, feel the goodness, the vitamins, the iron, all of these things. Lovely day for a flu shot. Drinking carrier tit blue guarantees you won't get sick this winter.
Or instantly, I think carrier tit blue increases your devotion to the emperor. Or carrier tit blue is the drink of the ecclesiarchy.
Every can of carrier tit blue is just as good as one prayer to him on earth.
Perfect.
Boom.
Absolutely
Boom.
done.
No, Doug, you've sold me, mate. You're still not winning anything because it is carrier tit, it's flavoured milk. But I love this. I love this. I'm now picturing it as blue space Guinness. Carrier tit blue on tap. I'm now picturing it like you'd go to a pub and they'd have the carrier tit blue. What do they call it?
No, the keg. Yeah, the keg.
Yeah.
The tap.
I literally
the keg,
just said it.
Yeah.
You'd literally just you'd have carroted blue on tap.
Yeah. Or
I love that.
They do like donations of it. You know, you come down to your local resourcing centre and pick up your bottles of carroted blue. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when the guard regiments, you know, you could even talk about long-term planning in regard to carroted blue, because you could have, you know, okay, let's start feeding the population this, and they're like, oh, how great is the Imperium? They're giving us free drinks. You know what I mean? And when the guard regiments are forcefully tithed from that particular planet, where they're like, okay, normally you give us, you know, 1 million men per cycle, or whatever the case might be, million men or women. We need 5 million for a particular campaign we're doing. But this is like 4 or 5 years after supplying the population with carroted blue, and then saying, joining up, you know, you get free vats of carroted blue, and everybody's just like, yeah, cool, that's the drink of our people. That's what's, you know, this represents us. You know, this is who we are. It's almost like beer culture in Australia. Like where people are like, no, I drink a VB. So that puts me separate to that group over there who drink Melbournes, and that group over there who drink, you know, Tui's and whatever the case might be. This is my drink. This is the drink of my people. And when we're formed up, that's the drink we have.
I've got all these like horrific slogans in my head now. Like imagine like carroted blue, the foundation of the Imperium.
Yeah.
You know, only the strong stand blue.
I got one for you. Just like, I'm thinking of this on the fly, so be gentle. Carroted blue. It's what the... no. I had it. It's what the Emperor... It's what the Emperor would do.
Make it slightly heretical. The advertisement is the Emperor leaning down off the golden throne to pick up the freshly poured glass of carroted blue. And you can see the custodians kind of looking over their shoulders, and they're both smiling, like he's watching over everyone, but everyone needs a break for the blue. Everyone needs a blue break.
Everybody needs a blue break.
Boom.
Done.
And it would be Bluey drinking carroted blue. But sort of going back to the actual idea, instead of just horrific advertisements for this drink, I love what Doug did here, where he was like, you know, a bunch of them are they're auditors, they're investigators, the Void-born enforcers. They're basically toughs, ensuring that people aren't hijacking shipments or stealing from the containers. But I also loved that they were like, they just get dumped into guilds or cartels or criminal organizations, and they're just making sure that no one is more likely to take it than official. Like the official path it's supposed to be going down. Like I love,
So like you could have contraband that's being, you know, perhaps sold on the side. You could have, you know, maybe weapons that are clearly stamped for the Astra Militarum that are being sold by this gang and whatever the case might be. And these members of the, what are they called again? The LAC.
Black Venetum.
Black Venetum. I keep thinking Vectorum. I don't know why. So you have these members of the Black Venetum in there, and they're just like, yeah, that's cool. Don't mess with the blue. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do what you want.
That the blue needs to be traceable from the rat's little titty all the way to the coin going into the war fund that's needed.
Really, really doubling down on it being rat milk. You know what? I'm down.
Oh, I totally see it as rat milk, like blue-coloured rat milk. But this is where I see the Lac Venetum really being ultra hardline about it. It's like, at the end of the day, we don't care what war this funds. We don't care what effect it has on the people. We need to be able to trace point A to point B. And if you mess up that trace, then you will see what we are capable of doing as an Ordos. You know, so right now we're we're just bookkeepers and money men and a few toughs and whatever the case might be, and we're just punching numbers in the background and making sure everything's just ticking over. A little bit of propaganda, a little bit of supportive networks to ensure that the trade routes go, but don't push our buttons. So that's within the case of the Imperium. You imagine what would happen if a Xenos race was impacting the success of Carotid Blue. Then you would have this Ordos suddenly go, okay, let's activate a few units of ours. Let's call in the power of our badge, and then they could almost begin a new war. So you could have them say hunt down a pirate faction of Dark Elder, and so, but to do that, you're not just sending off a few frigates and so forth from the Imperial Navy. You're actually needing to mobilise, say, an entire wing of the Navy, or I don't know the military terms for them, but an entire section, and then that needs added troop support, and then suddenly it needs logistical support, and so their push of Carotid Blue becomes as a way to fund their particular war as well, because they need to clear that lane to ensure that the funding keeps going. It's almost like it's a snake eating its tail in a way.
Yeah.
But I love this idea for something that you mentioned earlier as well. We're talking about, and that what I just mentioned there brings it back to the more traditional sense of what we know 40k is about: battlefields and navies and huge battles and gang battles and all the rest of it. But I think the Lac Venetum would be they'd be perfectly at peace just doing everything behind the scenes, just these little bits, just ticking that off, knocking that over, and just, a great year is a year where not a single shot was fired. It's just very boring, and it's very mundane, and it's not very exciting from a 40k or Necromunda point of view. But for this particular Ordos, that is just on the money, honey. Like, it is boring, it is dull, but we were able to trace every coin, every milliliter was traceable, and we were able to see the end results. And I love that, because those are the things that I think get missed so much in 40k, especially 40k, and I mentioned this before. Necromunda we can touch on a little bit more, maybe Dark Heresy, you can explore it a little bit more as well. But within the confines of something like 40k, that's the type of job that nobody cares about,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nobody gives two rats milky titties about it at all.
Jesus Christ. But I've come up with the ultimate Carotid Blue advertisement.
Okay,
I'm just going to give you the slogan, and you can. So it's basically like a Factorum worker, and he's ragged. And he's basically down on his knees, and he's looking up, and he's reaching his arm up, and there's sort of like a well-to-do Imperial type, and he's sort of reaching down to grab his hand, but in his hand is a can of Carotid Blue.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Now, on the back of the peasant's shoulders is the weight. Like, it's sort of the planet. It's a stylized Terra, but like modern Terra, on this peasant's shoulders. And the words above it simply say, "The burden is yours. The strength is ours." Underneath, "Endure. Drink Carotid Blue."
Do you know what? That makes me want to become a servitor. I just feel like sign me up. I want to serve the Imperium as long as I can. Mess me right up. That is so cool. I actually really, really like that.
Another cool one would be like a Catachan. Like, this is the second idea I had. Just jacked. Like, basically, like, just in his webbing, the bandana, it's just muscles on muscles. And it just says, "Failure is a nutritional issue." And underneath, "Carotid Blue."
Yes.
Boom.
Yes.
This has had to go to uni to learn this crap.
Yeah.
I talk about Warhammer on the internet with my friend.
Yeah. So I want you to play her this section of it, and just like, let her know that you're the marketing genius in the house. I think it's a great idea. I don't see
I
any
will be
bad...
sleeping on your couch so fast.
I'll give you some blue flavored milk, and you'll just feel better about the situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, guaranteed.
Yeah,
I love it.
They
I
will
love
come
it.
to
I
me
really
marketing
like this.
ideas for it, but I think it is that's the crux of it, isn't it? It's just like the way this would be pushed to the population. I love this. I love this concept, and I know we've talked a lot about the carotid blue, but if you forget the carotid blue and you can apply this to anything that the Imperium wants to push, suddenly it's just like, oh man, do you remember actually? There's a Futurama episode where they go to this planet and they're like, oh, we found the best like meat source or poplars. That's it.
Poplars, yep.
And it just goes like gangbusters across all of Earth, and everybody's eating them and so forth. And like, obviously the bad part is they find out what they're eating and they're like, ah, no, that was really bad.
Yeah, it was the baby Omicronians.
Yeah, that's it. But what I'm saying is like the way it would just like rip across a planet and become like the so common and so standard that if you weren't drinking carotid blue, you were suddenly, do you know, you can almost, I could almost see this Ordos doing that as well, going, tell us who's not drinking carotid blue. Who in your regiment doesn't drink carotid blue? Who in your society, who in your manufactorum doesn't drink carotid blue? We want to know. Especially in a regiment level. And it's like, maybe a handful of soldiers would be like, okay, let's investigate them for cult behaviour. And then you could even just trump up something against them that is potentially like just, well, not even potentially, but you trump it up so that it seems like they're part of a cult. They get, deemed as heretics and executed, whatever the case might be. And it's because they weren't drinking their carotid blue. It allowed the taint of chaos to get into their minds, because carotid blue protects you from the void, So it's like it's your dairy based Gallowfield.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. So, no, you know what? Yep. Enough. We're not talking about carotid blue anymore. Doug, you've done well, buddy.
Really good.
Unfortunately, you are winning nothing.
Maybe. Don't listen
you
to
did
me.
This to yourself.
I like your idea, so you'll win something from me, just me. It might be just a bottle of blue milk.
What's your next one there, dude?
Okay. I have one that again, in a similar vein of jobs that nobody wants to do. So this is from...
Digging holes.
Tell me about it. Just tell me. I could not express to you how much I don't want to do it. So this is from Matt Cook. I'm pretty sure he works in hospitality. This is... So you smile, because it's funny, because I'm funny.
It was funny. I'll give you that.
This is, I might butcher this word, Matt, but so be it. This is the Ordo Cognis Necros. Are we saying that correctly? Cognis
I would say that.
Yeah. This is the Ordo Cognis Necros. The primary role of the Ordo Cognis Necros is to investigate and exploit cases in which servitors exhibit signs of retained sentience following a cognitive wipe. Inquisitors and their acolytes... Yeah, I know. It got me. Inquisitors and their acolytes study whether servitors preserve fragments of memory that might enhance operational efficiency. This research seeks to determine the precise threshold at which limited sentient recall improves utility, whilst also offering resistance to warp taint or new spheric intrusion. Particular attention is given to post-wipe cognitive patterns observed in certain units. The ultimate objective is to assess whether the retained knowledge absent independent thought or distinct personality, can render servitors more effective. An Ordo-Cognis Necros Inquisitor's retinue is heavily weighted toward tech adepts and savants who perform critical technological assessments of servitor functionality and identify potential cognitive anomalies. They are often supported by psychers employed to detect residual thoughts or emotional echoes within servitors, where feasible. I know it's a bit dark, but it's really, really cool. Where feasible, these psychers may attempt limited communication with the fragmented sentience, or when required, suppress it with extreme prejudice. Necromunda serves as a near-perfect testing ground for the Ordo. Missions there encounter servitors in virtually every strata of society, allowing for extensive observation of behaviour that may suggest autonomy or lingering awareness. When such signs are detected, containment procedures are enacted and strict protocols followed. The Ordo then determines whether the unit warrants termination, continued observation, or eventual reintegration as a partially conscious machine. That I was circling back to that partially conscious machine.
That is very cool. Important.
Yes. The Ordo-Cognis Necros attracts both Puritans and radicals. Puritans view their mission as the total extraction of all remaining cognition, lest the servitor be deemed an abomination. More radical members, however, have been known to explore how far a partially sentient mind can be pushed, trapped within a flesh and metal prison, fully aware yet utterly incapable of interaction.
Just pausing you there. That is horrific.
Yeah, I know.
That is fantastic.
This is what, like, I love the concept of servitors in 40k, so this really drew me in. What is known for certain is that servitors encountered by an Ordo-Cognis Necros delegation invariably operate with markedly increased efficiency, whether this results from the absolute purging of organic thought or from the far more unsettling alternative, the deliberate awakening of awareness within unresponsive flesh. Remains a secret known only to the Ordos themselves. So this is and we sort of interrupted to read a few times about it, but it's really dark, but more importantly for me, it focuses on an aspect of the 40k world that is very, very 40k. Like, we don't really see servitors anywhere else in other sci-fis. It's pretty rare. Like, we're mainly up against, robots and bots and androids and whatever the case might be. But then it also drills down into a factor of what exactly is happening with our servitors. And that, to me, is beautiful. That's scratching at something. That's digging at something that, could they leave it alone? Could the Ordos leave it alone and still have the same functionality within the planet? Probably. But is there a chance for even the slightest bit of increase of efficiency or production or, competency of the servitor? Yes, there is. So let us run with an Ordos and do something with it. Do you know what I mean? Let's get an Ordos in there who's going to scratch at this little itch and take it to another level. And then what I really loved about what Matt put in there was the fact that there are Puritans and radicals who get drawn to this.
I am all over that.
Mate, the Puritans, like, you could see there would be Inquisitors within these Ordos, not necessarily always focused on Necromunda, but there would be enough work to have multiple Inquisitors on a planet,
But can you imagine the arguments between a Puritan and a radical of this Ordo who are taking part in the same investigation, where they're saying no, the Puritan is going, no, there should be no remnants of the former inhabitant of this body. They should not be able to remember anything from their life. That is wiped. That is almost implying that they have they've overcome the machinery and the programming of this mechanicum.
Yeah,
Whereas the radical would be like, but no, we need that little spark of humanity to allow the servitor to do more, or maybe can we see this as a form of ongoing, almost evolution of servitors? And then at the same time, you have a Puritan going, no, you need the spark of humanity, because otherwise it's merely a step towards the soulless machine. But then you'd have a radical will say, well, we could turn servitors more soulless and more into the machine and possibly get higher efficiency. So you know what I mean? Like, And the psychers who were sitting there basically going, is there anybody in there?
That's some dark nonsense, man. You imagine just like this person who's just trapped inside there, and like we're talking about like what was the line he used? Suppress with extreme prejudice, so they might find something dark in there. Like, a lot of servitors are criminals who get punished. Their punishment is to become a servitor. They might have found
criminals with very heavy, like criminals. They sneezed. That Steve sneezed during prayer time and was then turned into a toilet. Let's be honest.
What's the lesson?
Don't go to temple.
Okay, well, you're next for the servitor list.
Well, don't threaten me with a good time.
No, my thinking here is that you're discussing with a criminal who already probably hates the Imperium for what has happened to them, and then they're locked within this body, within this vessel, and they can understand the power that they would have within this vessel. And let's talk about your straight up traditional looking servitor with the Clory type arm and just like, a normal sort of servitor looking body. Or maybe has a welding unit or a gun attached to them, whatever the case might be. They have the potential to cause massive harm. And the way they would interact with this psyker is to just scream at them, to be like, just let me off the leash. I'm gonna ruin everything here because you're so vile. But something just dawned on me then. If you do have that body, that mind set within that body, could potentially that be a pathway to a demon or a warp entity, taking shape or taking form within that servitor, and just that little spark of sentience, enough, that little desire to inflict harm or destruction, not only just against humanity but the Imperium greater, is that enough to get a very, very minor demon, like probably obviously more higher up the ranks than Malal, but a very minor demon, a very minor demon, whispering to that human, that former human, now servitor, and saying, this is not really, like, you're going to be alive forever, and the task I put upon you and the effort I'm putting into you is going to take 100 years, 200 years, but we are eventually going to be able to use that plasma cannon for our own means. Do you know what I mean? And if you have this prisoner who has no way out, no option, do they simply, you would accept that deal, would you not? If you wanted to enact vengeance against the people who did this to you, you'd be like, 100 years with a demon? Yeah, cool, I can do that. Like, what's worse than what's going on currently for me? It can't get much worse. You wouldn't imagine it could get much worse. Obviously, the demon takes your soul, takes your sentience, whatever the case might be. But I guess the more important factor of what I'm talking about here is the psychers would have to understand how open is that mind, and does it need to be shut down?
Is that what they're looking for? Are they looking for those fragments of consciousness? Because they know that if warp entities are able to get into the servitors, the servitors are at every facet of Imperial life.
Yeah.
They are everywhere. And if
Yeah.
we start having en masse these beings taking over our servitors, they cripple us.
Yeah,
We are
yeah, absolutely.
diggity dog, hot dog done.
Well,
Like,
you can have all your guns facing out into space, and you can have an Imperial Navy out there, and you can have your planetary defense guns itching and ready to go, and all of these defense lasers. But if you're rotting from the inside because you have like effectively sleeper agents ready to go, once they've able to, like, there's more warp energy in them than there is human, then it becomes an absolutely horrific thing where they could just cripple the whole system, exactly as you said. So I think these psychers would be, they would have to be very, 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 very good psychers, in the sense of, it's not just about digging inside a brain and casting smite. This is about trying to understand the individual that you're dealing with and what they are
yeah,
capable of. I guess not what they're capable of doing, but what they're capable of, how they're capable of interacting. And that's where the danger lies. And that's where your Puritans would be like, no, snuff them out. If there's a voice kicking around inside there, silence it. Let only the brain function be happening to allow it to do normal, everyday servitor tasks.
yeah.
Now
I really like that.
there was something I want to come back to very quickly, which was reintegration as a partially conscious machine. So that is, to me, a total abomination in the eyes of humanity. That's, utterly destroying the concept of what it is to be human, because you're taking something and going, okay, well, we're just simply strapping machine bits to a human and allowing it to function. But the abomination that you would be creating if you were trying to reintegrate that human is just vile. Absolutely vile. They've already been servitored,
I don't remember if we mentioned it during our servitor episode, but I remember there was, I swear it was from one of the Grey Knight books, I think by Ben Counter, where his particular armory servitor used to be an armsmith when it was alive, but then committed some, tiny act of heresy. It was nothing.
Yeah.
It would have been
Yeah.
absolutely nothing, but then got turned into a servitor. But because of that spark of its former character that was still there, the work it did was just a little bit better than average. It was just a little just a little bit nicer, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Can you imagine if they were trying to create the servitors but were wanting to specialize them, so servitor artists who retained creativity, or servitor engineers who were able to look and sort of actually break down these complex problems. They want to retain human ingenuity and human intelligence, but still have them easily controlled, just like regular servitors. Once again, our radical and our Puritan are both looking at that going, I don't know if I like this or not.
Yeah, exactly. Because for the radical, it's sitting there and saying, okay, well, this is what we want. We want to increase efficiency. We want it because, the concept of the servitor is effectively dated technology, and you're going, okay, well, let's just, let's put that in one basket of, this is what we've always done, but is there another? There's got to be something else, There's got to be, and if they were to reference other parts of the Imperium, they go, we know of Goliaths, we know of Death Corps, we know of affiliate projects, we know of all these things where, we don't mess with humanity unless they're becoming a space marine, but we did, and it worked out all right. So can we mess with the servitor and make a better kind of machine one of the greatest resource we have is our human population. Can we make that human population actually better by attaching machine components to them, but not completely mind wiping them, giving them just that further aspect of just a little bit more sentience? Whereas the Puritan, I think the Puritan would be torn with the idea of goes against everything that we know is the right thing to do, but we're increasing efficiency. And if we're increasing efficiency, is it wrong? Is it wrong then to wipe out that abomination? Because it's efficient. It's better for us, Like you don't give up on rattling snipers just because they're rattlings. They're snipers first and foremost, you know what I mean?
The key word there being sniper.
Yeah. So this servitor this automated human suddenly becomes, suddenly becomes a little bit more of a valuable asset, which is like the Imperium, like dogmatic side of me just goes, no, kill them, just replace, just keep it all standard, just get rid of them because the standard's easy to deal with. But that standardization, we know, destroys the Imperium from the inside out because it stagnates it. So, yeah, I really love what Matt has done because, again, it allows us to explore an aspect that would never, ever be explored. And I think even in Necromunda, you wouldn't have this kind of concept about the servitor and the department that manages, that looks over it, going into this kind of depth and detail. But it's part of what makes the Imperium, and it's part of what makes 40k so exciting and engaging, is that there are these jobs that nobody wants to do. There are these jobs that are just like, bleh, I don't want to dig around a servitor's brain, but there is a certain element that says this is could potentially be the most vital role within the entire history of the Imperium.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
And honestly, if they really wanted to practice it, they should just round up a whole mess of drudges. No one would care.
You're just a silly person sometimes, aren't you? Just a silly, silly, silly boy. Not a man, a silly boy. That's what you've done to me. Anyway, have you got another one?
I've got one last read. Do we do three each, or do we do two each?
I thought it was two, maybe three. Do
you know
what? We won't count. No, we won't count Bob. There we go. So we'll eliminate him, and we'll do three each. Yes.
Done. Well, that means it's your read then, because you've only then technically done one.
Okay, I'll read something. Nathan is cool. That's my favourite Ordos.
And now we're lying to the audience. Okay, so I have one more. Now,
yep.
Listen, I'm just going to jump into this because it needs to be done. I'm going to read it, and then I need to talk to you about it because I have opinions. Okay.
Okay. All right. Yep.
This comes from a listener by the name of Dan S., and it is simply titled The Ordo Tabula Rasa. Thought of the day. The tithe is the emperor's truth. Reality is merely a clerical error awaiting correction. Inquisitor Katharina Vallum did not find the cult of sorcerers summoning warp denizens she expected in the aftermath of her encounter with a demon in the Underhive. Instead, she found Sector 7's G/Delta, a sanctioned hab block whose few surviving residents explained that their dwellings had been rearranged over generations to form a single continuous queue. The queue had begun 3 centuries earlier when a local timesheet servitor's internal clock gear slipped by a single nanosecond, causing it to log every worker as arriving 400 years late for their shift. To rectify the resulting total loss of wages, each resident was instructed to complete Form E19-6M and have it approved by the sub-vice prefect of localised chronometry an official who, unbeknownst to the applicants, had accidentally been processed into corpse starch after a filing cabinet collapse in M39. When this vacancy was finally noted a century later, the process did not end. It simply mutated. Citizens were told that the original Factorum supervisor's signature would suffice as a secondary proxy. However, the Factorum itself had long since been relocated off-planet due to a critical shortage of labour, a direct result of the entire workforce standing in line for a signature instead of manning the assembly lines. As each new bureaucratic fix was decreed, it merely birthed a shifting labyrinth of new standardised procedures, where every solution created two new impossible prerequisites. Forms were issued, stamped, counterstamped, and forgotten. The ink was faded and overwritten so many times that the parchment itself began to whisper, a low, rhythmic scratching sound that echoed the heartbeat of the hive. The wait-time frustration had reached such a psychic density that the queue wasn't just a line of people anymore. It was a localized event horizon that had developed its own spiteful, administrative soul. As the line grew with the generations, so did the pressure, psychic, emotional, and administrative. From this miasma was birthed the horror not of blasphemy, but of compliance, a bureaucration of the warp, a shuffling colossus of fused muscle and bone that screamed in the sound of 1,000 scratching quills. It demanded forms. It rejected them. It stamped flesh. It denied appeals. From this incident, Inquisitor Vellum reached a conclusion she would later declare doctrinal truth. In a hive of trillions, bureaucratic error is not accidental. It is inevitable, cumulative, and even sanctioned. The warp is not merely stirred by heresy or sin, but by the range of emotions caused by correctly processed mistakes. The administratum was not failing the Imperium, but it was, through sheer volume of compliance, threatening reality itself. The warp was responding not to rebellion, but to procedure. With recognition that horrors of the Immaterium were being accidentally summoned through clerical inevitability, Inquisitor Vellum founded a new ordo, the Ordo Tabula Rasa, with a single mandate: rectification. The Ordo Tabula Rasa hunts prohibited administrative anomalies, errors that have persisted so long that they have become metaphysically dangerous. Its agents track down citizens, bloodlines, and entire hab zones that technically do not exist due to a misplaced digit, corrupted cogitator, or an ancient, misfiled census entry. Sometimes it involves tracking down citizens who have been legally declared dead, but refuse to stop attending their shifts. If a citizen cannot be found in the official records, it is typically deemed more humane to remove the citizen than to amend the archive. Amendments require approvals that more than often no longer exist. Removal requires only confirmation. Death at least closes a file. Notable achievements of the Ordo Tabula Rasa include the Phantom Spire. An entire Habspire of 3 million inhabitants was discovered to physically exist, despite not appearing on any of the master maps. While a proposal was raised to amend the maps, it was determined that the documents had been ordained by a senior administratum representative with links to Holy Terror, and were therefore more authoritative than physical reality. This proved the spire was a falsification of sacred records. Thus, the spire is now classified as a 3 million line error awaiting erasure. The recursive citizen. A single Factorum worker, Gregory H7, was accidentally entered into the census 412,000 times due to a stuttering vox cogitator. This resulted in a 1/1000th% increase to Necromunda's imperial tithe. After extensive negotiation with the administratum, the only acceptable solution was to obtain the remaining 411,999 Gregories. Each was first punished for failing to meet their individual production quotas before being reassigned to their original post. And the omitted day. A routine audit revealed that one entire local day, cycle 998-233 of M41, had been skipped in the Hive's official timekeeping due to a misaligned chronoscribe. As a result, all births, deaths, crimes, pay records, and work shifts that occurred during that day technically never happened. Now, to preserve temporal and administrative consistency, the Ordo ruled that the day itself was heretical. All citizens who could remember events from the omitted day were detained for corrective questioning. Those who could not forget were retroactively reclassified as having never existed. Now, Nathan, when I first read this, I called you and I told you were not allowed to read this. Do you remember how I described this story?
Okay. Prepare your precious ears, folks. No.
How did I describe this?
No, I firmly have the soapbox below my feet.
Okay, my apologies.
Listeners, prepare your precious ears. You son of a bitch. Right? You described this as one of the worst things you've ever read.
I described it as one of the worst things I've ever read. Not because of the way it was written. This is written beautifully. Dan S., in my opinion, has smashed
replaced the S
everything.
with an A. He can be Dan Abnett. I'm in love with this. This is gold. No. So
this is one of the worst things I've ever read, because when you read it, you can 100% see into the mind of the Ordo Tabula Rasa and, you know, Inquisitrix Katharina Vellum going, no, the documents are correct. It is existence that is wrong. Those 3 million people that live in that spire, they should not exist. Get rid of them. This is one of the most horrific things I've ever read, because from an imperial mindset, it makes so much sense. They are willing to kill 3 million people, but somehow get 411,999 Gregories.
Do you know what they would be doing? And I want to talk about the writing more, but you just brought up the Gregory thing, and instantly I thought what they would be doing is they'd just be getting a veritable legion of enforcers to go around and just legally changing names to Gregory.
Oh my God! What's your name?
My name's Tim.
I think you mean Gregory.
Kadoom, stab, Gregory, done. And here's your name badge. And they just have all 499,000 Gregory name badges that they just give to them straight away. It's like in lieu of an updated ID card, you get this. Now go speak to those Inquisitors over there. Oh,
everyone gets a "Hi, my name is Gregory" sticker for their shirt.
Absolutely. Hi, my name is Gregory. And then straight over to the Inquisition, belted around the head, sorted out. Are you going to do that again? I don't know what I did, but I'm assuming no, I'm not going to. Perfect answer. Back on the floor. Actually, we're a bit low on food stores. You're going to become corpse starch. So let me reiterate my point. When you said not to read this, I was like, okay, cool, I'll hold off. I didn't know you were going to read it on the show, because I thought you were actually meaning that it was so poorly written that it was actually bad and difficult to read. It is, and I've got to say as well, folks, if we can, we'll put up on the Instagram, but Dan has gone ahead and done up a document that is just beautiful to look at as well. Yeah. It's not just text. He's put in the whole incoming transmission, the green part of the front of a Necromunda book. But you played me like a fiddle. I was not expecting that. And that to me screams Imperium, that document. That is the Ordo Tabula Rasa screams exactly what I'm thinking Marnie's Calgar. No, Robert Gulliman would be just completely against. He would find something like the Ordo Tabula Rasa and just be, why does this exist? This is stupid. Like, it needs to be. This is what my father's Imperium has become. Where we'd much rather eliminate 3 million souls than work out exactly how to amend paperwork correctly. You know, it's just. This drips of everything that makes you both love and hate the Imperium at the same time. It is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful, and I love it. And I almost feel like, you know, we've had a good dive into everything else that we've talked about. I almost don't want to dive into this, do you know, because I feel like it's perfect. It doesn't need, like, I mean, we probably will, but if I read this and it was in the 40K, like, I think you just said it before, if you read this and it's part of some dark heresy book or part of Agents of the Imperium or something, you'd be like, oh yeah, cool. Makes total sense.
Yep.
This makes total sense, and I will not question it because this is the way the Imperium is supposed to be. Oh, I love it. And what I was talking about earlier, where we talk about the things that the Tabula Rasa never see a battlefield. They never see a gang fight. No. You know, they might have the occasional scuffle or what have you, you know, rounding up Gregories, but collectively they're not fighting. You know, they're not doing the fun parts of 40K and Necromunda that we love, but they're doing something that some higher up in the administratum would just be absolutely loving. And just perfect. You should be doing that every single day. This is you know, getting my cogitators whirring. I'm in love. And I probably rambled on a bit more, but
he's done so well. But here's some interesting background into the meaning of tabula rasa. So tabula rasa is a Latin phrase meaning, and this once again, Dan, I'm really going to be, I'm like eyebrows deep inside you right now, because tabula rasa is a Latin phrase meaning blank slate or erased tablet, referring to the philosophical theory that all individuals are born without a built-in mental content. It posits that all knowledge comes from experience, perception, and nurturing rather than innate ideas. So their whole mindset is reality is a blank slate that must be taught by the administration of the Imperium. Yes. Like that's how I see it. Like reality is merely a clerical error awaiting correction. Like that opening thought of the day he did there. The tithe is the emperor's truth. Reality is merely a clerical error awaiting correction. That is amazing. Like, God damn.
Can I? Sorry, before I lose the thought, while you were reading that, I instantly thought this person has experienced or works in bureaucratic administration, because many years ago I worked in sort of an admin adjacent role, and to get things to happen, to get things to work. Oh my Lord on the golden throne. Just the pain. And we weren't even having to fill out form after form, but to get something to move in the right direction felt like you were, trying to turn around the Queen Mary. It was just insane. So I feel like there is genuine experience, there is genuine pain attached to this writing of somebody who's had to go through the process of I need to fill out this form, and then I need to fill out this form, and then I need to do this. But to get that form filled out, I need to have the first one verified by somebody who's not going to look at me until I have the third form filled out. Yeah, that's right.
Well,
that makes sense. Cool. See you later.
The most logical explanation is either, yes, they've worked in administration, or they've been involved in administration-heavy industries, or they're British, and in Britain, standing in line is actually a competitive sport for them. It's the sport the British are most known for. That and colonialism. But
well, look, I mean, they also have soccer. They just can't win a World Cup.
Yeah.
We're the best. We invented it. We've got the best league in the world, but we can't win a World Cup. So anyway, go on.
So more background on tabula rasa is some slight deviation of the words. For example, tabula or tabbouleh is a popular Levantine herb and grain salad originating from Lebanon and Syria. Typically served as part of a meze. I think that's also a football player, isn't it? Meze?
Yep.
And
Exactly.
then you have la raza, which translates literally to the race, but is commonly understood to mean the people or the community, referring to a shared cultural, indigenous, and Hispanic heritage. So I am now only going to refer to the tabula rasa as the tabula rasa. So that's how it must be pronounced, like an accentuated LA Mexican accent.
Asa?
Yeah.
Right, so
Tabula
we're
rasa,
talking.
yeah, but no, yeah,
You started off with a gibberish language at the start of the show. You might as well.
no, I've ruined
Repeat
it.
another
I've ruined
one
it.
now.
We are getting cancelled after this episode. No, Dan, I have no
Firstly,
notes.
Dan.
I have absolutely no notes. This is oh wait, we haven't done where everyone else is going to be at the mixer.
Oh, right.
For the last
the mixer.
ones.
We've got the mixer. The last ones. Okay, so the last one was. Let me have a look.
So, we did the first two, and then I jumped on to Doug's the Lac Venetum. They are going to be the weirdos talking about shipping, but they've all got blue milk mustaches. So the other minor Ordos are all avoiding them because all they want to do is
Have you
talk
ever
about
seen-
calcium and trucking.
Have you ever seen the Simpsons episode where it's the egg guys get to Homer and it's just like
Yes.
discussing how that's what the lack Vanitum or lack Vanitum. That's just like, don't talk to them. They'll just talk to you about milk and they'll convince you about milk. They will make you love milk. Actually, have you had some milk? Wait a second, have you already talked to them? No, I just really like blue milk. Come on, just try some of this blue milk, you know.
You walk over to them, it's like, hey Steve, how are you? You've been talking to the Lac Venetum guys again, haven't you? How do you know? You've got the blue mustache? Because you've just been drinking carotid blue?
Yeah, exactly.
And then after that, who did you read? You read Bob. No, you read Bob first.
No, we did Bob's one. No. I did the Ordo Consinecros.
Oh,
remember?
yes.
Yes, so these are
The ones with
the
the
servitor
servitors.
guys.
Oh,
I like the
where
dark
would they
stuff.
be at the mixer?
Where would they be at the mixer? They would heavily be avoided by everybody else. Because
They would
they'd just
be in a
like
corner
that.
and they've specifically turned the lights off above them.
Yeah, exactly. And they've just got a psycho talking to a toaster. It's like, can you sense the consciousness within the toaster? It's like, I'll keep trying. And they just keep trying to abduct the drink servitor.
The drink server, one of them spear tackled the drink servitor and is trying to cut its brain open, and the other waiters are like, "Sir, please." He goes, "I'm trying to do my work." It's like, "Sir, you are covered in blood. What is going on?"
We're using humans for the drinks, to serve the drinks, not servitors. We've been trying to explain this to you for 45 minutes. Please leave him alone.
We are a small business.
We're just trying to sell some carotid blue. Have you spoken to those guys in the corner? They're great. We had wild snake. We've dumped it all. We're just carotid blue,
I am
baby.
lactose intolerant. And then the tabula rasa. Honestly, it is three people in very smart suits in a corner trying to decide who should or should not technically exist.
Exactly. 100% exactly what they'd be doing. They'd be like, just checking for data. They'd be like, if we see a Gregory on any of these people, they're done. They're done
Wait a
for.
minute. Did you say your name was
whore
Gregory?
bust-
It's Gregory. That's close enough. We have a job for you. I'm an Inquisitor. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, just stamp this. Stamp. Oh, your name's Gregory. Come with us.
Here's
I've
your
got the
sticker.
number below 300,000.
We only needed 412,000. Yeah? Well, that's one more for the pile. Get in the pile of
Yeah, let's
Gregory's.
keep adding. Like, I would see the pile of Gregory's as like an urban legend within the tabula rasa, and in the sense, or
Yes.
would you say the tabula rasa?
The Tabula La Rasa.
La rasa, in the sense that whenever an Inquisitor comes on board with the tabula rasa, it's seen as like, no, we didn't get all the Gregories that time, so go get yourself some more Gregories. It's almost like an initiation. Like it'll never reach zero, you know?
It's like
They
a
have like
hazing
a
for
bottle
a
of
frat.
champagne ready to go. Exactly. How many
Welcome
Gregories
to the
did you get,
Tabula
bro?
Rasa. Go get yourself a Gregory.
And they have this clock that ticks, that is like ticking over with like bottles of champagne ready to go when they hit zero, but it never gets to zero. It's always just
Because
like
the Gregories
popping up
keep
a few
dying.
Extra.
It's like, we got 10 Gregories
gotta
today,
account
but
for
we
them.
lost 15.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, mate, brilliant! Absolute
Jesus Christ.
deep fried gold.
Yeah, Dan,
I'm in love
zero
with the tabula
notes.
rasa.
You smashed it.
Yeah, I as I mentioned earlier, I would feel like, and it feels cheap doing this because we usually gasbag on about, but I don't want to touch this. This is perfect.
No.
This is like
No.
tick tick tick. Yep, done. Right. Okay. Let's move on to what would be our last one.
Oh, but just
I
quickly,
imagine.
like I said, I stand by the fact that is one of the worst things I've ever read. Because the absolute, like, who was it who led the Tyranids to all the worlds? Cryptman. Cryptman's just like, just let them eat those worlds,
Yeah,
and then we'll exterminate those worlds to stop the thing. The Tabula Rasa, in my mind, would just be like, well, if the Tau hadn't have stopped that Tyranid hive fleet from getting to this segmentum, this planet wouldn't exist. And we can't say that they exist because Xenos let them.
Yeah.
It was a nice planet.
True.
It was a nice planet.
He give you that shiny exterminatus button. I'm going to hit it again. That's going to make 10 this month. I love it. This is my favourite button on the ship.
Are any of them named Gregory? It's a weird question, I know. So that's planet Gregory. There's 100,000 people named Gregory. Don't you launch that missile. It's too late. We launched it twice. Damn it.
No, I could have got it to zero. I would have got it to zero. Yeah.
And if they get enough Gregories, the Emperor literally comes back to life.
Yeah, well, that's their urban legend.
That's their
the
urban
Emperor
legend.
wants Gregories. Yeah, it's not psychers on black ships. It wants Gregories, specifically Gregories. If you get psychic Gregories, mate, you've hit a golden goose. Right, okay. Our next one, and I just want to preface reading the last one. We've had a lot of entries and just absolute deep fried gold in so much of it. It feels a little bit dirty just picking a handful to read, but we don't have the show to read all of them, unfortunately. And I think we say this every time we do a listener lore or an entry competition. So, unfortunately, guys, maybe we'll find a way to get them out there in the future. But
we need to do a show that is literally. And audience, tell us what you think about this, because we've talked about this a couple of times, like to each other, but not to like actual people. What if we did a show where we just randomly pick one of our listener laws, and then just do that listener law, and then just put it up as just a 30-minute episode, like, or just a conversation that just goes up, maybe on YouTube, just an easy thing there. If you like that idea, like, say yes. If you don't like that idea, say yes.
Yes. Well, that's going to be confusing. But We'll figure it out, because if you're saying yes,
figure it
we're
out.
going to do it. Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah,
Right.
I think we should do that. That's good. Anyway, go. Stop wasting time.
Sounds like a plan. Nice. This comes from Matthew Lindsay. Hi guys, I've realised that I may have misread the competition rules and that you may have wanted a new Ordos Minoris created, and that we were supposed to show a team of theirs which was active on Necromunda.
Don't ask us. We don't remember what we said. We don't know what our competition was. I think we've just turned it into just tell us about minor autos.
Just talk to us.
Just talk to us. Just be our friends.
Just be our friends. Yeah. I'm sick of talking to him. I need to talk to somebody else. All right. No. You're all right. Yeah.
Thank you.
The Ordo Arthropodium. Consisting of 2 members, the Ordo Arthropodium is often overlooked in reviews of active Ordos in the segmentum solar, but, as its members will assure anyone who cares to ask, it carries many times the load one might expect. Inquisitor Blata began his career in the Ordo Xenos in the Galactic East, spending a great deal of his time analysing the movement patterns of hive fleets and attempting to block their means of communication. Disappointed with the ignorance shown by the Imperial forces, who regarded anything with an exoskeleton as a bug, Blata and his colleague Muska parted ways with the Ordo Majoris in order to pursue their inquiries into the proliferation of insectoid and arachnid-type life forms across the galaxy, and the existence of a link between apparent evolutionary convergence and xeno-infiltration. While Muska has taken a special interest in the crystal spiders of the Eldari, Blata has taken a broader approach and currently finds himself on Necromunda. Given carte blanche to pursue his interests on Necromunda by the planetary governor, Helmaya's exact phrase was, "You can do whatever you like to the things with more than 4 legs." Blata is attempting to...
It's a fair point.
It is, so any sort of, servitors with extra legs, watch out. Blata's coming for you. Blata is I'm going to go from the top again. Do not interrupt my reads.
Sorry.
I'm joking. Given carte blanche to pursue his interests on Necromunda by the planetary governor Helmaya's exact words being, "You can do whatever you like to the things with more than 4 legs," Blata is attempting to pry himself away from the millisors of the Underhive in order to conduct a complete study of the ash lions and halamites of the ash wastes. He is convinced that the study of these life forms will demonstrate the underlying natural laws which have led to creatures of a particular configuration to flourish in all corners of the galaxy. His Lord Inquisitor hopes he may turn up some new food sources and armour options for undersupplied guard regiments. Never seen without his compound visor, which allows him to see all known spectra, Blata wears a practical brown duster filled with pockets to hold samples and specimens. A competent duelist, he carries a masterwork needle pistol and a force rapier, which enables him to turn his modest telepathic ability into a lethal defensive measure. Blata is routinely accompanied by a small team of associates who assist him in his inquiries. There is Edna, a scarred Catachan jungle warfare instructor. There are few insectoids which haven't tried to kill Edna in his career. Formerly regarded as the toughest man in his regiment, Blata liberated the plain-speaking Edna from a life of boredom teaching students at the Schola Progonium in order to provide a pragmatic lens to the team and a skilled pair of hands when a specimen is uncooperative. Tick and Zim, a pair of Vespid stingwings abandoned by their Tau commander when their position was overrun by the Tyranids. Tick and Zim were recovered by Blata, who was leading a sortie against the swarm. Once separated from the influence of their communication helms, the pair were dismayed at what had become of their race, and shedding their Tau slave names, sought the protection of Blata as he sought a way to break the controls of the ethereals. They now act as bodyguards for Blata as he continues his inquiries, content to live under inquisitional protection whilst Blatter expands his understanding of Tau mind control over insectoid races. Magos biologist Campire, an expert in the field of xenoentomology, Campire may have overreached himself when he undertook a study of the sloth, having made himself an enemy of the Aranthamine syndicate in the Calaxis sector. Campire made a full report to the Ordos and immediately requested a transfer to the solar segmentum. Appearing as a writhing mass of mechadendrites contained in a red robe, Campire is sometimes inscrutable to those not of the Adeptus Mechanicus, but has thus far performed admirably in his role as savant and technical specialist within Blatter's team. Muss, often overlooked as the team's valet, the rattling Muss has repeatedly proven his worth to Blatter throughout their association, whether by extracting weaponizable toxins from a myriapoda or plating up the perfect accompaniment for an ambol steak. Blatter is yet to find a creature that Muss cannot turn into an asset. While he prefers to leave fighting to his larger associates, Muss is never without a truly dizzying array of carving and flensing knives which make him far from defenceless in combat. So, this particular Ordo Arthropodium really got to me because it plays on something that I've repeated many times. We don't care about the weapons. We don't care about the battlefields. We're out here stuffing around with insects. And I think the other thing that opened up my mind a little bit with this as well is that it's really like you could almost use the Inquisition as your researchers and engineers.
Yes.
Just like send them out there to go do innocuous little tasks, but with the right authority and mandate to get away with doing those tasks. Do you know what I mean? So you say,
yes.
Let's go. Like, I've actually got a friend of mine who studies frogs, and she went out into the middle of nowhere studying frogs for like 5 months. Craziness, right? And just like a small facet of what this small species of frog was doing. And there was money, there was funding, there was support all behind it and all the rest of it. But it's something that you just don't hear about. Something that is just like is I guess I'm not going to say lacks relevance, but it's not something that is locked into your day to day, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that's where I see something like the Arthropodus. They're not something that's a massively important thing in the overall working of the Imperium, where you have like the Tabula Rasa, who, you know, from a certain viewpoint, are doing quite a critical role within the Imperium of ensuring that, you know, the documentation
murdering
matches
innocent people.
Well, you put it that way. I put it in the way that the documentation matches up with the physical outcomes or the physical remnants of what the paperwork said of what the paperwork is saying should be there. Yeah. But like you take the other autos that we're talking about, their roles become there is a critical, I believe there's a vein of critical importance where the Arthropodus, that critical importance is almost not there. You know, it's almost like, you know, when you hear on the news about science projects when science research that's done, and you're like, what the hell did they research that for? Like, how much money? It was like, $2 million was poured into that over the space of, like, I don't know, 2 years or something like that. Like,
scientists have now discovered that with proper application of electrical impulses directly into the brain of this rat, he can actually understand spiders. And you're like, okay. Now, the study lasted over about 7 years and cost approximately $257 million. But the scientists also hope that this will allow the development of possibly new medications in curing athletes' foot. You're like, what? What?
Yeah. And That's what I'm saying. It's like that's all mandated. That's the government's like, yeah, here, have the money. In this particular case, it's like the administratum is saying to the Inquisition, or the Inquisition broader is saying to this particular Ordos, here, have your resources, have your mandate, have your mandate of the Inquisition, and go forth and do your job.
Yeah.
Right? Go out there, do it, throw this badge into everybody's face. They are going to understand that you are Captain King Dingaling, and they will get out of your way. They will bend over backwards, because in their minds, the same authority that is being shown from an Inquisitor of, say, the Ordo Malleus is the same authority that's being shown from an Inquisitor of the Ordo Arthropodes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I really like that. I really, really like that. I also love the fact that he's just like, they're doing it for a bunch of reasons. You know, he wants to study the bugs and the sort of the creatures themselves out there, and he wants to find out why, you know, maybe why they've evolved that way, why they act the way they do, you know, be it the Helamites, the ash lions, of which obviously he's once Scrutinator Gadget is jumping in there and agreeing with me that they're obviously an insect. Personally, I think they would be better. I forget. Did I think they were insects and you thought they were actual lions? Or was it the other way?
They're actually lions.
Okay, good.
You see,
so
this
they
is
are,
where the tabula
yeah.
rasa. This is where the tabula rasa would be perfect against somebody like you.
Yeah.
Because you're spreading misinformation. Because they're not actually like insects, and all official documentation from GW is wrong.
That's fair. But I do love the fact that he's doing that. It's like, yeah, so we're going to do this. And, you know, he is convinced that the study of these life forms will demonstrate the underlying natural laws which have led to creatures of particular configuration to flourish in all corners of the galaxy. His Lord Inquisitor hopes he may turn up some new food sources and armor options for undersupplied guard regiments. He's basically going on a study tour trying to find a new cheap protein source. The last time the Inquisition, the Imperium did this is when they tried to farm ambles in different places, and the ambles just escaped.
Yeah.
And guaranteed the Ordo Arthropodium would be studying ambles and just looking at them and being like, hey, so we've got these ambles here on Necromunda, yeah. Do me a favour. What's that, my lord? Go and get me half a dozen of those drudges, right? Just make them go stand over there. Okay. Now make them do river dance. Why? I just want to see something. And you know they've got a big TV screen and they're showing them like, was it Ian Flatley?
No, was it Ian? Yeah, it was Ian Flatley.
Flatley. Lord of the Dance and like that, and then on another screen it's Stomp, where they're just like stamping their feet and stuff, and it's like,
yeah.
Just you guys just copy that. So these drudges are basically doing a mixture of river dance and like the changing of the guards at the India-Pakistani border, where they do those big flourished kicks. And then all of a sudden these ambles come up and just rip these drudges apart. It's just like, get me 10 or 12 more of those drudges. Why? I think we should get them to reenact Swan Lake.
Look, like, the dance is what anger the ambles.
The dance,
not the
if
humans.
We can find the right dance.
Yeah. You just see them out there doing like the dance from Thriller. You know.
Their moonwalk. The moonwalk is the ultimate defense against an amble. Shoot him in the leg.
Michael Flatley, by the way.
Michael Flatley.
Michael Flatley, yes. Yeah. So, this, you just read it there. This reiterates my point about, like, I wouldn't say the pointlessness, but, like, the lack of, the lack of urgency about what the Ordo Arthropodes would be doing, because one of their tasks is to help supply undersupplied guard regiments.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about undersupplied guard regiments.
Nobody cares.
No, nobody cares.
They'll be from somewhere. They'll be from one of the crap planets, like Valhalla.
Yeah. You're just a child. You're just a child that likes hazard stripes. Yep. Stupid. Absolutely stupid.
But one thing I loved about this was the build-up of the team. Firstly, he didn't have a single Valhallan, which was a good decision. But Edna, I love, because Edna, the former Catachan jungle warfare instructor, so you know he's probably just one of the toughest humans in all creation. And he's just like, well, I don't want to teach stupid kids. I'm going to go work for this Inquisitor and beat up insect monsters. And then 2 of his best friends are a pair of insect monsters. Tick and Zim.
So I didn't like that. They're alien scum.
I love it, because I can imagine them flying and be like, does it look like us? Yep, it's got to be the enemy.
They've got a picture of themselves, just like they just, hey, go hover in front of that. Okay, that's got a lot more like armory chitnessy bits.
That looks like our cousin.
Absolutely, 100%. I did like that throwing off the slave names of the Tau. I was like, yes,
that was fantastic.
Yep.
I really like cool. that. And Magos Biologus Campia. So Scrutinator has gone into some of the Dark Heresy stuff there, like how he has made himself an enemy. So he studied the Sloth, who were just one of the most disgusting Xenos in the entire galaxy. They're maggot people. And then they have this group that they control, which is the Amaranthine Syndicate. And he's tied this in beautifully, because it's just like, yep, here's my full report. I don't want to do this. I need to literally get out of this entire segmentum. You need to send me anywhere else. What's that? You want me to go work with a dude studying grasshoppers? Yeah, cool. No problem. This won't be difficult at all. I'm basically a spinal column, a brain, and I'm assuming like 2 digicams connected to a 200... what are they called? Mechadendrites in a robe? Yeah. Sweet. I'm gonna love living on a planet made of literal, like, emotional damage. I love that. And Mus, I was about to say Ratskin. No, Mus the Ratling, who is basically, he's extracting either weaponizable toxins or plating up the perfect accompaniment for an amble steak. He is a mixture of poisoner and chef. Like, you'd expect this guy to be cooking a mushroom risotto here in Australia somewhere, but instead he is on Necromunda, just absolutely destroying the local fauna. I think it's great. And you can just imagine this tiny little ratling. He's a chef, so naturally he has 500 knives on him. This is fantastic. Yeah. And Bladder comes across like an absolute gentleman. The practical duster. He's got pockets. Like, he's a bit of a nerd. He's guaranteed to be carrying around like some of those insects that people have pinned down onto the little boards in the little... Like, you know, you get trading cards. Not trading cards. Oh, your trading cards and Pokemon cards and stuff, and they put them in those clear plastic things so they don't get damaged.
Card protectors. Yep.
The card protector. But he's definitely got like a bug or like a beetle in one of those, and he shows people at parties. They're like, you seen my beetle?
This one's so rare. Like, you will not find this. Everybody's just disappeared already. And I can also have him see him having like a Jiminy Cricket type of little creature that just hangs out with him, that he just talks to all the time. Like, he's got his retinue and all that. But he also leans on advice from this thing that he believes is like a psychically attuned little critter of some description. Have you seen, perfect, like Wally. You know, Wally has the little cockroach that follows him around at the start of the movie?
Yes.
That's what this is.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. He has a Wally cockroach.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, as a little cockroach friend, just talks to, survives the most horrendous of encounters. You know, every time he thinks it's dead, it just comes appearing and just like, oh, hello.
It's
Gregory.
It's just his name is Gregory. Yes, the cockroach's name is definitely Gregory. He has a little top hat and a little jacket. He has his own little inquisitorial rosette, and guaranteed, it's just a regular. It's like a juvenile amble, but it's like or something like that. And it was just slap and gassed one day, and it just developed like a higher consciousness. And then Bladder comes along and it's just like, oh, gonna stomp you with my big old stomping boot. And it's just like, don't stomp me. Oh, snap.
Yeah.
What just...
I've made a discovery. Yeah.
What just happened? It's like, you want to be best friends? Yeah, I want to be best friends. I would watch that TV show. I would watch that.
Would you ever?
Just Bladder and Greg... Bladder and Greg, don't try to squish him or you'll end up dead.
Exterminators, boom.
Exterminators.
And then, just like the comic duo of, what was it, Tick and Zim?
Tick and Zim.
In the background. And just like the surly Catachan, just walk around, just like, stupid kids these days don't understand anything. Oh, look at that. Like, Gregory, he's just, I don't know why he's so, like, why he's got the ear of the Inquisitor. He's just a bug. If I could kill him anytime I wanted to. But like really has a soft spot for him.
Oh, so loves Greg.
Like he's a hard
nut, Greg.
But loves Greg to death. Like, yeah.
And I see Edna as actually quite protective of Tick and Zim. It was like, no.
Yeah. Oh,
I get it. They're flying bugs. They're Xenos, but they're good fellas. They've looked after me. Like we got drunk a lot, and it turns out we both like all three of us we're all like the same football team. So we're basically blood brothers now.
Exactly. So it's just like this hard-nosed Imperial who's just like, no, I love them all. And then you've just got this rattling naughty thing, just basically a toddler it's the toddler of the little retinue. It's perfect. I was going to say,
poisons and knives. Basically, anytime my daughter comes up to me saying, "Daddy, I made you tea," and I'm like, "That is clearly 3 leaves and water from the pool. I'm not drinking this." Daddy, drink it. It's tea. Like,
it's tea, Dad. If you don't drink this, you're going to make me cry. Also, I want to go to another trip with the hospital with you, so drink it. Yes. Yep. Right, no, this is definitely great. A sitcom. I know it was.
I was talking about the visit to the hospital after I drank that tea.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, this is definitely like a sitcom. This particular war band. I love it. Absolutely love it. Right, now.
Where are they at the party?
Thing. Oh, yes, the party. I almost forgot the party. Where are they? They are not even in the main, like, reunion centre. They're out the back, ferreting in the garden. Just
perfect.
Like, looking for, like, butcher boys and anything else with something that resembles an exoskeleton. And just feeling like, have we found the next best discovery? I think we have. Yep. 100%.
That is exactly what they're doing. And Gregory's just like, see that guy there? That guy owes me $5. Crush him.
Yeah. Gregory, what are you going to do with $5? Hey, I don't question your decisions. Just have my back for once. Yeah.
Shut up, Edna. Do as you're told.
Yeah.
Well, you technically outrank me, so all right.
Just flashes the rosette. This tiny little rosette. Just do it.
Hey, do you have a top hat? I don't see a top hat. Edna's like, I don't have a top hat. He goes, kill the bug, Edna. Kill it.
Are you a Catachan or a Catachan?
Are you a Catachan or a Cata won't? Because if you don't do it, I know someone who Cata will.
Beautiful. Yeah. Right, okay. So the actual hard bit. The hard bit. Do we go to the hard bit now, Samuel?
I don't want to do the hard bit because also we didn't do a single combat auto.
Didn't we?
Not a single one of them was involved in like combat. They were all really investigatory.
Yeah, like they were definitely like out in the left field sort of thing.
Yeah.
We didn't, which is I don't know. Maybe the next competition we have, folks, lean on that we are suckers for non-traditional. Non-traditional 40k and neck runner stuff. So I don't know. Is it a good thing? It's a good thing. Is it a good thing?
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
fine.
I think we need to play Dark Heresy at some stage.
Oh, you mean the
role
upcoming Owlcat game smash hit mega cult classic, or do you mean the role playing game?
The role-playing game.
No, you had me at we should play Dark Heresy. I was just clarifying which one we should play first.
I wonder if they'll do minor autos in that. Yeah, they could. Who knows?
As long as it's not the auto cartography nerds.
Yeah.
Oh.
The whole game is sitting on your computer designing maps. And then it just gets to the end saying you've won. That's it. 45 hours of building maps and you've won. Yeah.
All right, now I'm gonna start it again, but I'm gonna go the iconoclast options. That's right. Times New Roman is the only font on these maps.
Yeah, exactly. And then it ends early with like just Rupert Gulliman just chastising you and shooting you. Done.
Heretical option. Every map is
heresy.
written in wingdings. You single-handedly destroyed the Imperium. No one could figure out that the compass was actually an E.
Oh my god! I just imagine this astropath whipping out a map, going, "What have you done?" Shoom, straight into the throne room of Khorne. I jumped where I thought the map was saying.
We're jumping into the warp. Yeah, they cut this sword class frigate opens up in the throne room. As the Emperor wakes up, just goes, "Goddamn wingdings!" Boom!
Goddamn wingdings, and that's it. Bang! No more 40k. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh Jesus!
I would play that game. Our cat games. If
I would play that
decide
game
that because I
hard.
would play that. Oh man!
Our cat games
All
are actually releasing
what are we doing?
2028.
Yeah. The cartographer expansion because we hate you as much as you hate you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, now this one here, we obviously we have two competitions going here. We have one for our Patreon listeners and one for basically everyone else.
Yes.
I'm really bad at this part. I loved Dan's and the Tabula Rasa, in my opinion, was the perfect mix of the grimdark of the Imperium and Warhammer 40,000, but also like of modern 40,000, but also of the older editions and the silliness and the insanity and the almost
unrealistic. Like if you get my meaning, it's like, no, that would never happen. You know what I mean? Like, there's no such thing as a 20-year siege on a planet. But no, this is 40k. This stuff happens.
This is 40k.
So there is 3 million souls that are not documented. So they get the old sleepy time button pressed on them, you know? Yeah, right.
But, like, so I'll run backwards through mine first. Then you've got Doug and the Auto Venetum.
Yes, the
carotid blue. I hate this. I hate this so much. But that's one of the reasons why I love it. Because the spite he's put into it has turned it into this beautiful thing that if I was reading one of the Warhammer Crime books, and it was just talking about, black market carroted blue, I'd just be like, that makes total sense. Or they're talking about some of those advertisements that we made, like the funny advertisements, that sort of thing we were knocking around with, and all that sort of nonsense. If you saw those posters on Necromunda terrain or 40k terrain, it fits. It just makes sense. And then,
totally agree with you.
Yeah, and then my first one, the auto redacted. Once again, it is just what the Imperium would do at those super high levels of, the Inquisition deals, the local law enforcement deals with the citizens. Then you have the Arbites who deal with imperial law. Then you have the Inquisitors who deal with holy law. But you have the auto-redacted who are the ones that go through and ensure that there is control or lack of control to ensure that those laws need to be maintained. Like...
Yeah. But like
run over yours,
in the most
like
harsh, in the most harsh manner. I was going to say,
yeah.
So obviously there was Bob's. We started with the auto sepultura and the repeating of the plague words and how that in itself becomes the creation or the manifestation of the plague, which is just like it was a really, really, really dark way of looking at something in the undertones of the Imperium, which was just absolutely beautiful. And once again, just Bob does amazing work with the stuff that he submits to us. And then there was Matt Cook's the auto consignecros, which is just the beautiful one of basically dabbling with servitors and digging for things, digging in places you shouldn't be digging. Just messing around in these areas and playing around with technology and I guess the human psyche in a way that I think is dark beyond dark. And then Matt Lindsay's just ridiculous sitcom, the auto arthropods, the bug hunters, big bug hunts.
I don't know if he meant to write it for us to then turn it into a sitcom, but honestly, if we can get a couple of episodes written, Warhammer TV will make this show. This Henry Cavill could be playing a Vespid.
Oh, they would.
By year's end.
No, I want to see him play the as the Ratling.
Play the Ratling.
And clearly have him like I think he's like Henry Cavill's like 6'3" or something like that. Just make people ignore the size. Just have him walking around.
Yep. Yeah.
It'd be perfect. Absolutely perfect. Mate, there has been okay, do you have No, do you know what? I'm not even going to ask you, do you have a winner? No. Do you know what? I have been working incredibly hard for the last, I want to say, 5 weeks, right? That includes being around people in New Zealand.
Fair.
So, and all the entries we have, and especially the 6 we've gone through, there is so much effort and time and ability, and they've also worked hard. I've worked hard. They've worked hard. There's only one element of this show that hasn't been working hard in the last 5 to 6 weeks. Would you like to put your hand up and nominate yourself?
Okay.
Did you record anything? Did you record anything?
I did. I recorded Hobbling.
Did you work very hard? No.
I did work quite hard.
Yeah.
Like,
I can imagine. But anyway, my point being is that I just think, it's 2026, baby. Let's start it off with a bit of flair and we don't need to pick a winner. We got 6 winners.
Bob's not winning. Well, he's banned.
Okay, well, Bob's not winning.
I'm angry at the fact that you're just like everyone gets a prize. I'm angry at that.
What's going on with that?
No, you know
I think
what?
it's written into our charter of the show, by the way.
It's written into the charter of our show. Well, we do a giveaway episode, everyone. Okay. You know what? No.
No. Bob doesn't win.
Oh, Bob doesn't win. Yeah, because he broke my heart. He broke my heart. He made me fall in love with Belzer, and then he took him from me. He knew what he was doing.
The grey.
Oh.
I know. Horrible man. Horrible man. No, why can't we have 6 people win? Why do you hate the audience, Samuel? Why do you hate the audience?
I don't hate the audience. No, you know what? I agree. Done.
Yes.
Done. All six of them have been absolutely fantastic. I fully support this. And I'm also going to say that Bob wins because of just the sheer number of Sepultura references he got into a single piece of writing. If he'd mentioned the Grey or Belzer in any way, shape, or form, I would have cancelled the show. We just wouldn't be recording anything anymore.
Episode,
cancel the podcast. I'd delete it from the internet. I'd just be like, bye.
And then, if you have any hate mail directed towards Bob. Right. Okay. Yeah, 6 winners. I think it's well deserved. All 6 that we read were just chock full of just, I don't know, 40k-ness, necromunda-ness. They just felt like they belonged within that world. So yeah, 6 winners. You're welcome. That's what me not being able to record for about 4 or 5 weeks makes for us. Everyone's a winner.
Everyone's a winner. Okay, well, that's been a great return back to the podcast. I will be in touch with all of our winners over the next couple of days. And, yeah, I don't know how to end the show. I forget how we do this. Check us out on social media and...
But also let us know if you want us to read out the rest of the listener laws that we couldn't get to, or the submissions we couldn't get to, because if we get enough traction on that, we'll create these little 30-minute episodes and little short little snippets that you can feast on.
I love it. Now, I have found a quote to close this episode out with. Yep, I've got one.
I forgot about the quotes.
Yep,
It's been a long time.
This one comes from an earlier piece of work, and I just want to remind everyone of this because I want you all to remember something that was taken from everyone. In that moment of free will, that bright, lightning white of free will, he heard a name echo throughout the cosmos. Belzer. Bye, Scummers.
Bye.
Love you, Belzer. All right then, Scummers. It's my absolute favourite part of every episode. About 20 minutes after we finish recording and I'm about to turn everything off and go to bed, when I remember that I have to read out the names of our Patreon members. Now, I do joke. I do actually genuinely enjoy this part. And we are joined here by a strange man in a trench coat who is just staring at me. So I guess I'm good to go. No, he's handed me a list. We have a new list of Patreons. All right, and starting at the top here, we have Gregory. Yo, you're shitting me. Okay, Gregory. Alfonso the Traitor. Gregory. Gregory, 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 Dr. Toe, Gregory, 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 Gregory. Thank you to everyone for continuing to be our Patreons, especially after this last month. We have a whole heap of brand new Patreon content coming, as well as the rest of the series of Hobbullying. So, once again, thank you to every single one of you. This guy's just staring at me. I said Gregory. Apparently Gregory. Bye, Scummers.